Hello, and welcome to Comic Sans. My name is Albel, and this is Kelly.
Hello.
So yeah, Comic Sans. Basically quick origin story, if you will. Basically what happened is myself and Kelly often seem to meet up at certain digital Fiasco-related events, and the two of us would start talking about comic books, and our friend Jack McBastard would start tearing his hair out and start telling us to shut up and calling us nerds. And then all of a sudden he got a bright idea. It's like, why don't you guys do this on video? And we're like, why the hell not? We just do it anyway.
Yeah. we spent 20 minutes one day talking on one single issue of a comic book. We may as well do it here.
Exactly. So yeah, we figured that these conversations are probably at least of some interest to, people that may or may not be, magic glass of water, may or may not be interested in comic books. And also with how mainstream they're becoming, maybe not comic books in general, but at least comic book properties are become a lot more mainstream. So why the hell not just talk about them? Oh, hey, we've got a person. Hello.
Excellent.
I'm happy. Actually, we've got K-Tronatron.
K-Tronatron.
Call him Carnzatron.
Carnzatron.
That's American Dave. That's one of the two states.
Yes, no, I've actually talked to this guy. Yes, hello, American Dave. Yes, no, you know what? Thank you for joining us. Honestly, this is a show for both comic book aficionados and noobs. So I'm much more the noob side, and Kelly's much more the aficionado side.
So I've been reading and ongoing for comics for about 30 years collecting now, so my collection is quite vast. Hence why, basically, they say I have far too many comics, and I don't necessarily disagree.
How many comics do you have, Kelly?
18,000 plus and counting.
Holy shit. I'm both terrified and jealous. Like, it's a weird feeling. My thing with comic books, actually, it's really weird. I was really into comic books as a kid, but interestingly enough, I grew up I was born in 1987, and basically as soon as I could read, I got obsessed with comic books. However, the 90s broke me for comic books, specifically some of the Marvel.
The 90s broke a lot of people for comic books.
Well, exactly. And that's the funny thing. Like, I thought that's like my era. So I thought I'd be like, this is fun. I'm into it. Yeah, Scarlet Spider's cool. Yeah, Azazel's cool. I quit for literally years until I got back into it probably in the early 2000s, and still not still not where I would love to be with comics, but I still buy them and I still read them and enjoy them. So, and I generally try to follow what's going on. So,
yeah, a lot of people get into it for a lot of different things. The comic store I generally go to, we see a lot of different individuals come in. There's a lot of regulars like myself who have been going there for a long time, and even what we collect differs from person to person. There's some people who will follow everything Deadpool is in, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
There are people like myself who won't follow a character, but will follow a writer or an artist who I know can tell a story that I'm going to enjoy ongoing issue to issue, but also over the course of a long period of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those from the 80s. I'm sure as we go on with Comic Sans over the next weeks to months, we're going to talk about some of those because we've got a handful of segments, including talking about some of those iconic characters and creators that have been part of comics for many, 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 many years, including some, and we'll talk as well about some who are relatively new to the genre, but are really making an impact in the stories. In terms of the characters that are out there, but also just really driving attention to the medium, not, again, like you mentioned earlier, not because of the books, but also because of the movies and the TV properties and the spin-off video games, anything that comes from the comic-related genre.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. That makes me really excited. Like, honestly, I think the thing I'm most excited about for this podcast is basically getting recommendations from you. Like, you've already recommended me a few things which I've made a list of, so I'm eventually going to get to some of them. But I'm really excited about just learning more and getting more excited about comic books again.
So one of the nice things is, as we did these discussions, we found that both Albel and I have different tastes in comics too. So he's recommending stuff, and like I said, I've been reading for a long time, but he's recommending stuff to me I've never read before. So we're going to make that kind of an introduction to us and hopefully to everyone else of titles that at least one of us enjoys, if not both of us. We're not going to recommend you pick up something we don't enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's stupid on us. So we're hopefully going to do that. And any feedback, any questions, and any recommendations,
yes,
offline as well, we welcome. And if it's stuff we've never read, we'll find a way to read it. There's gotta love digital and comicsology and stuff like that to get those.
Yeah.
And if we have read it, we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to quickly go over some of the segments that we're going to talk about. So yeah, the first segment we're generally going to talk about is like the news roundup. So both like the TV news, like that's TV and movie stuff that's coming out, that's on its way out. We're trying to keep it relevant to what's coming out in like, this year, right? We won't start talking about stuff next year or things that are super vague. Like obviously if there's an announcement, we'll talk about it. But if it's just like, hey, somebody bought the rights to this movie, we'll say that. But that's like all we have kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then of course there's also going to be comic book news, and that's Kelly's that's Kelly's jam. He knows exactly what's going on at all times. So after that, the next segment we're going to be is what are we reading? So both Kelly and I will kind of take turns talking about what we're currently reading, what we have read. There's a good chance that Kelly's list is going to be a little bit longer than mine, but that's okay. It'll still be good conversation because I mean, again, I'm so curious about a lot of the stuff. I'll have a lot of questions. And then we'll also have older recommendations or things that we've read at least and stuff that's at least a year old or older than that. So that way we'll be like, hey, you may have missed this comic from ages ago, or this was super popular in 2005 and stuff like that. So, and
the nice thing is with those ones is these are things that if it does interest you from what we're saying, you can go out. There's a collected trade of all of those.
Yes.
So it's easy to get it instead of trying to do the single back issue hunt. But you can easily get the full story again digitally or through print and any bookstore, any comic store.
Absolutely. And then the last segment is kind of going to be a few different things. We've got a few different ideas that we're kind of go with. Like what Kelly mentioned earlier, the main one we're doing today is the legacy, where we're talking about a comic book writer and what kind of legacy they've made for themselves. We've got a couple other things. We're going to have like an anime spot, which is going to be my jam, where I just talk about a certain anime and we have a bit of a conversation about it. And I'm going to try and go for anime that I think is super interesting, because I watch a ton of anime and some of it I like, but I'm just like, I don't think I'd recommend it to non-anime fans. So I'm going to try and go for stuff that like, even if you're not a fan of anime, but I think this is a good thing to get into.
Something that could drive you into the anime genre to watch.
Exactly. And I'll admit there's going to be a couple that I just love so much that I'm not even going to be able to be aware that I'm like, oh, you know what? I honestly think this one's a good one. Whether this may be a little deep for, more of an anime style one but I'd be like, you know what? This is worth your time. So yeah. And then, there was another segment idea, or is it?
We're still tossing around a lot of ideas for what that's to be at the end. If there's things you want to see, we welcome feedback.
Yes.
We're going to do things along the lines of, what if so-and-so characters ever fought? So
I look forward to
Batman
this.
versus the Hulk, who would win? I think we know the answer to that. It's Batman. But there's a whole bunch of things that along those lines that we really want to take in, and we welcome discussions like that. Questions from you guys as well. If there's anything you want to know about, we will answer those, and we can keep a segment for that if we need to and cover those as well.
Absolutely. Our pal Discount says we're looking good. Thanks, Discount. Well, thanks for watching as well. I think actually, you know what's funny? I was actually talking to Discount about anime as well. Like I think I just sent him a bunch of recommendations. So yeah, dude, like seriously, keep watching the show. We'll hopefully have a bunch of stuff that you'll be interested in too.
All right. So, should we get started?
Why the hell not? All right. So our first segment, I guess we'll cook off. We will kick off.
That's a different show.
Yeah, I'd be bad at that one. We're gonna kick off with the news roundup. So yeah, I might as well jump into it. So, we're gonna kind of go through a few things, but the first thing that we really want to talk about, because I mean, we've been waiting to talk about this for a while, is the Defenders TV show, the Marvel's Netflix Defenders, or Netflix's Marvel Defenders, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that dropped about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I watched it opening weekend when it was released.
Yep, same here.
Okay. So for those who aren't aware of the show or not familiar with it, it is kind of Marvel's culmination of all of the Netflix shows to date. All of the characters, main and secondary, really did show up in the the Defender series. And so with the show, it is a collection of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. The 4 characters there in the comics were never the Defenders until recently.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. So was that recent Defenders then becoming the Defenders? Was that in response to the upcoming TV show, or was that even before that?
They're on issue 4. So it was
Okay,
they knew they were doing the show.
Yeah.
And they decided to put the comic to coincide for just shared properties. Each of the characters already had their own title.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this though, before we kind of get into the big conversation. So as far as the Defenders go, because I've only recently learned that the Defenders had like a completely different team. So yes, actually. Okay. Actually, before I get into this, I just want to say like Katronatron. So Danny Rand is a shitty employee who keeps telling you how they did it and how they did it at their old job. Back in Kunlun. Yes, actually. We've been talking about
Kunlun.
Yeah, back in Kunlun, we did it this way. You know, we're actually gonna have I actually have some things to say about Danny Rand, both positive and negative in this show. But yeah, like he was a point of contention for a lot of fans. But what I want to ask you is that as far as this, like, does this team have any connection to the original Defenders in any form, or is this just a name that they decided to put on these guys? Like, what's that like?
So 2 of the characters were in the original Defenders comic. So Luke Cage, back when he was known as Power Man. Back in the 70s when it was very a different time.
He was very, he was a blaxploitation character, which had some
just
positives and negatives about the way they portrayed him, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. So Luke Cage was there, Daredevil was there as well, but neither were members for very long.
Okay.
There was a period of time, actually, a few years ago, that Luke Cage and Iron Fist were both members of the Avengers.
Yes.
So they were there during the run of writer Brian Michael Bendis, who's actually currently writing the current Defender series and is the creator of Jessica Jones.
That's
the comics. So.
Yeah. Oh God, I loved his Jessica. We'll talk about Jessica Jones comic in the future because I really liked it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, please.
No, but yeah, so apart from that, the 2 of them would just have appearances here and there. Neither were truly part of a team, with the exception Luke Cage actually founded another group, Heroes for Hire.
Yeah, okay. And so him and Danny Rand were on that team together, were they not?
They led the team.
Okay, yeah.
The 2 of them, Luke Cage had his own title in the 70s up till about issue 50.
Okay.
Then it actually became Power Man and Iron Fist, and they teamed the 2 up. So they were... for about another 100 issues, they were teamed up in the same title.
See, I've always known that, because I mean, I haven't read a lot of Luke Cage and Iron Fist comics. Like, I read a few in my time, but I always remembered, like, basically whenever they showed up, the 2 of them were together because they were just really good friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It had, the rich guy and the black guy.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those old TV shows,
this
right?
This is the 70s and 80s when that was done. So.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But back to the new show.
Yes, absolutely.
Thoughts?
Oh, boy. Okay, so I have a lot of mixed thoughts on this show. Like, how do I... Okay, so basically, I thought it was just okay. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record. You guys are probably gonna hear this a lot, but I feel like Marvel has perfected the art of just good enough in a lot of their productions, and I generally find their stuff entertaining. A couple of the Netflix shows, in my opinion, like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and parts of Luke Cage, kind of elevated themselves to being really, really good.
Yes.
And then other areas that kind of faltered quite a bit. But this one was not quite as good. I mean, it's better, in my opinion, than Iron Fist, but it's...
Everything is better than Iron Fist.
Yeah, I think we could agree on that.
And I loved the character before the Netflix series came out.
No kidding. It's kind of...
It was a martial arts series with a severe lack of martial arts.
Yeah, that was really frustrating. And there's a couple things about that, actually. Like, I mean, even in... I'm gonna try not to get too ahead of myself, but even in this show, I feel like we have to accept now that Danny Rand's not as good at martial arts as Daredevil, which is weird, but okay. Like, I mean, he's supposed to be one of the best martial artists in the whole Marvel universe.
True, but keep in mind that it's stick-trained Daredevil.
Yes.
And it seems Stick knew who the Iron Fist was, so he's part of the mythos, which never happened in the comics. So that's new for the show.
And you know what? They're doing a couple things in this show that we'll kind of talk about a little bit, where they're actually kind of calling out not only Danny Rand for being a shitty Iron Fist, but also being kind of a shitty person. So I'm hoping that they try to improve their character with that. And, you know, like, one of my favorite lines of this show, like, again, is when Stick goes to Iron Fist and he's just like, the mortal Iron Fist is still a thundering dumbass, and we're all like, well, yeah, I guess, you know.
No one watching it could disagree with that statement.
No, but yeah. So before we kind of get into it, basically overall thoughts is okay. It's okay. There's a lot of issues with it, which we'll kind of get into a little bit more. But what about you?
So we do actually have a comment that from Kyle Keller. Hello. I like most of the separate Netflix shows, but not really Iron Fist, but just can't get into Defenders. I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Iron Fist essentially turned into a prologue for Defenders.
It really
but it
did.
was a 13-episode prologue for an 8-episode main chapter of the story. The problem is they tried, like Marvel has done in many ways, and depending on who's running the show, they tried to do too much. And it just didn't do as well as it should have.
Absolutely. And I honestly do feel as well like that both Iron Fist and Defenders made the Hand seem less threatening and less scary and more just weird and kind of petty.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we kind of get into it? Like, why don't we just kind of dive right into this? So we're like, a lot of the things we're talking about are going to be pretty much full spoilers. So just be aware. We'll always preface that. Obviously, we're going to talk about Defenders. If you haven't watched it or you care,
It has been 2 weeks, so hopefully you've had a chance even to get it started. Like the comment here, and if you can't get into it, that's fine.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think it's like my recommendation. Like before, early on, is basically look. If you don't want to watch Defenders, that's fine. You just need to know the main story points of what happened so you can understand the rest of the Netflix shows. It's really otherwise, don't worry about it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So in this show, basically, okay, let's talk about the things that we liked first. How about? Then we can kind of get into the things that we didn't like so much. Okay, so the things that I liked, honestly, I thought it was pretty cool to see all 4 of these characters. Like, I was pretty trepidatious about the whole thing until I think it was episode 3 or 4 where they all met up in that main building.
In the restaurant?
Just before the restaurant. Okay. Like, when Danny Rand went to confront the main villains, right? So
the hallway scene. The
hallway scene again, and the show, obviously the Netflix shows are known for the hallway scenes. That's like everybody's got to do a thing on Old Boy these days, I guess. But like, so what I liked is that it kind of slowly showed each of the individual characters. It was a little kind of start off slow because they were kind of recapping each of their stories. Yep. But honestly, I couldn't help but smile when I saw Matt Murdock, doing his thing and be like, I'm done with Daredevil. When I saw Jessica Jones casually drinking as she always does, like I was just like, man, this is great.
I don't think there's anything casual about it.
No, she's a complete alcoholic. Absolutely. Seeing Luke Cage kind of get out of jail. So I liked seeing each of them, and well, I guess Danny Rand coming back from Kunlun or whatever. I don't know, he fought a dude. So, but what I liked was kind of how it felt a little incongruous, but how each moment had each character's individual color and style, right? And so in that scene when they all came together in the hallway, they're all fighting and they're all just like, and you know what? Honestly, I actually felt like them coming together in that moment felt natural. Like the things that brought them there didn't feel too forced.
I agree. Yeah. And you see stuff like Avengers, at times it seemed like it was forced because it was Nick Fury forcing them in the movies.
Yes.
But this was less forced. This was, this happened. And it was somewhat forced because consistently it was Claire, the night nurse, who brought everyone together.
That's true. It's funny because like talking, even I kept making this joke with my older brother, but it was fun. Like basically, it seems like these characters can't cross boroughs. Like Claire wasn't even during like Iron Fist. She's like, hey, I fucking know a guy. He's blind. He could probably help us.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, just
to
trust
Luke
me.
At the end there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but even in Defenders, it was just like, you know what? I have someone I think you should meet to Luke Cage, and suddenly there's Danny.
Yes. Oh boy. Yeah. Actually, the digital fiasco thing here is actually saying 3 years digging a hole to in order to find dragon bones. Really? Oh, don't worry. We will get to that. It's
so. If they do something that is from comic lore for that, they bring back the big Marvel dragon of
yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Villain known as Fin Fang Foom.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No, we'll talk about that in the things we don't like because I have a lot to say about that. But oh man, that I would be for that. I would be for Fin Fang Foom showing up.
Say that 10 times fast.
Nope. Can't even say it once. But yeah, so I thought that scene where after that and when they all sat down in the restaurant, I actually really like the interplay between the characters. And one of my, again, like freaking Jessica Jones, well, everybody basically calling off Danny Rand makes me laugh. But like it's just like, oh, I'm the mortal Iron Fist, and then she's like, Jesus Christ, like she's just like, I can't take, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And then like and I really liked how Matt was just like, no, I can't be here, this is dumb, we're all going our separate ways. Like I just liked how the interplay between the characters, and when Stick walks up, it's like, hey, you guys are all fucked, let's work together.
Oh no, it was more, hey dumbasses,
Yeah,
you guys are all fucked.
You're right. That's actually very true. So yeah, look, that was the first thing that I really think I really like. So how about you? Like what?
I honestly, the first 10 minutes of episode 1.
Oh.
Because Iron Fist actually had a decent martial arts scene at the start of Defenders, more so than his entire 13-episode run.
You know what? That's actually fair. That's very true. He looked like he was doing real martial arts at the time.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It was a different showrunner. It was a different stunt coordinator for Defenders, so they were able to put more into it.
No kidding.
So you could tell that there was someone else in charge of the show.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite thing, though, with the entire series as a whole is not one of the 4 main characters, but Colleen Wing.
Yeah,
That character was probably the best part of the Iron Fist series.
Yeah, I agree.
She wasn't the best part of Defenders, but she was a strong supporting cast that could easily go on to another series.
Let's make it happen.
Well, in the comics, her and Misty Knight did have their own series, and they were part of Heroes for Hire as well.
Oh, okay.
So they were ongoing supporting cast members through the entire Power Man Iron Fist run.
Sure, yeah.
And they had Daughters of the Dragon.
Yes.
And they were also in charge of Heroes for Hire for a while as well.
No kidding. You know, I don't think I ever. Gosh, I think I maybe read 2 or 3 issues of like Daughters of the Dragon in a comic book store. Like I never actually owned them, but I thought they were so cool.
They only had miniseries. They didn't have a regular ongoing. They were more in Heroes for Hire than anything.
Okay, I see. You know, I sometimes, just as a quick aside, sometimes I end up picking up like those miniseries, like just random. Like I have maybe 2, like maybe 1 or 2, like Secret Avengers miniseries, like one-off comic book storylines and stuff like that. I think I saw those ones, and then I read them, but I never like kind of saw them again. I feel like those are ones that you'd have to be specifically looking for, eh?
Probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like if you were to pick up any of the Heroes for Hire, you'll see them.
Okay.
Like because they were mainstays throughout.
Yeah.
That was your 4 core characters: as Luke, Danny, Colleen, and Misty.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, you know what? Colleen Wing had better fight scenes than all of Danny Rand's Iron Fist fight scenes. Like in Iron Fist, like those 2 cage matches she had were really well choreographed, and you could tell that, like, obviously there was a stunt double in some of those scenes, but you could tell that the actress, whose name I'm gonna completely whiff.
I'm blanking too.
Well, I'll look it up for later. But that actress, like, she actually was involved in those stunts, and because she did so well in those, I actually looked up her Instagram, and there's a lot of scenes of her training and practicing with the sword and stuff like that. Like, and there was even a scene of her, like one of her, like, practicing spinning the sword and whiffing a bunch of times until she finally got it, and I was like, that's awesome.
Well, her fight scenes were done so well, unlike Danny's at times. With hers, it actually looked like she was actually connecting with someone when she was fighting. Danny's, it looked like you could see when you're doing it. There was that gap between the fist. And I'm not talking the special effect Iron Fist, because at least there they can put some light around it and mask it, but just regular fight scene.
No, you know what? There's at least 2 times in Defenders that I noticed him whiffing a punch. Like, it's like I actually rewound so I could see. I'm like, yeah, you can see that he's totally like this far from the guy.
The only time I think you ever actually saw him connect with the punch was the slow motion one where he hit Luke in the face.
Yeah, which looked awesome.
That's the only time he connected that you could guarantee.
By the way, her
that
name
may not even have been him.
No, yeah, exactly. We don't know. But by the way, Jessica Henwick. Yes, thank you. She's really good. She's good in that show. Yes. She also she played one of the Sand Snake action figure characters from Game of Thrones as well, where she had almost no character development whatsoever.
So same as Danny Rand.
Yeah. Pretty much. But so I thought that was great. Another thing I kind of really liked about the show, like, you know, interestingly, they did a very similar thing as what they did in Luke Cage, where the main villain, like, I actually kind of liked, I actually quite liked Sigourney Weaver's character. She was interesting. She was very cool and calm. Like, I really liked the scene where Danny walked into the office. Again, actually, and I will actually say that Finn Jones did good in this scene as well, where he walked up.
The boardroom scene.
The boardroom scene,
yes.
Exactly. When he walked up and she was talking, and how I love, again, this is just a cool camera trick, but I loved how she was just walking behind the camera, like behind him, but the camera wasn't focusing on her at all. She just walked up behind him and put her hand on his shoulder and totally interrupted his train of thought while he was talking. So I was like, and I thought that was a great scene. And her just kind of casually sitting on the table while she's like, great job, you're gonna fucking die. And, I thought that was some good stuff.
Yeah, so there was a comment that the fist gap is canon. Danny hits with his fist. Not with his fist, but with his cheek. And that is true when he's using his cheek. He's not using it all the time.
Yeah, the problem.
So when he's actually channeling the fist, that is true. It's a lot of the energy. You saw some after effects of that in a few spots.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
For the most part, it was just a straight martial arts fight scene. He had to channel it to really gain it. You saw his struggle to really get the energy there.
Exactly. Anytime you see him charging the Iron Fist, you know he's going to be hitting with it.
Sigourney Weaver is a better martial artist than Finn Jones.
Woof.
I'm probably a better martial artist than Finn Jones, and that's saying a lot.
Oh boy, yeah. That's the thing. And honestly, I do. Again, we'll go into this in the bad stuff, but like Finn Jones, I have some issues with him, but I feel like they could redeem him. And actually, that's another thing that I kind of liked. Okay, so again, knowing what little I know about the relationship between Luke Cage and Danny Rand, I was honestly, after watching Iron Fist, I was actually somewhat like just. What's the word I'm looking for? Not quite disgusted, but I'm really troubled by the idea of the two of them being friends. I'm like, I can't, like, Luke Cage would not be friends with this idiot. He wouldn't, because this guy's a piece of shit. And it just, like, I can't see these characters actually form a bond. They managed to try and do that and make, like, steps towards that. Because, again, early on, Luke Cage was calling him out and saying he's a privileged piece of crap. He doesn't understand everything, doesn't understand anything. And Finn Jones' Danny Rand actually was like, shit, he might be right. And so the scene later on when Danny Rand was basically tied to a chair because they didn't want him to run away and get himself used by the hand, Luke Cage sat down with him and was just like, he's like, oh, you fought a dragon? And Danny Rand's like, yes, in Kung Lung. He's like, fuck, man, I was kidding. I don't give a shit. And Danny Rand's like, no. But then Luke was like, so dragon, huh? Like, actually tried to engage in a conversation. Like, so you can see it was more of a mentor-mentee kind of a relationship.
And I saw that, like, right from Iron Fist to Defenders, you saw a little bit of growth of Danny as it went forward, which is good, which means that when they do Iron Fist season 2, which is confirmed, all of the shows have been confirmed for a season 2.
Yeah.
They can start to progress that forward so that you can see growth of a character. A lot of times you get, if it starts very one-dimensional, very craptacular, they stay that way. In this case, you actually have the possibility of character progression to really move forward and see the character become something more.
Absolutely.
So because they made him so crappy in the first one, they have given themselves the ability to grow. Because with Jessica, she's already a strong character. She's already tormented.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backstory as opposed to forward story.
This is true.
With a lot of things.
Yeah.
With Luke, there's backstory and there's growth in the community.
Yeah.
With Daredevil, he's a freaking lawyer.
Yes.
You'll always have
They'll
something
always have
going
stories.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
And this way, they've at least set Danny up to grow. It's not going to work backwards.
Absolutely.
If they take advantage of it.
I really hope so. And after watching this, I'm actually willing to see, like, honestly, I do feel like Finn Jones is a bit of a miscast, but he's with us now. So at this point, you know what? I'd be happy to see him grow. Like, I don't want to see them fail. I don't want to see Iron Fist fail. If they can turn that character around and turn that series around, I'm more than okay with it.
That's a big if.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And that's only because they have so many characters that they could do on Netflix for other properties that I don't want them to focus on a character like Danny when they could if it's not working, when they could focus on so many other interesting characters. So don't make it a reason to just try to make it better. If it's not working, have them as a supporting cast member to show up every now and again and move on to some of the many other properties they could take on.
Absolutely. Oh, I just want to acknowledge we've got Dandroid. Hey, Dandroid, he's in. That's awesome. Dandroid also responsible for the awesome graphics we got going on, so thank you for that. And then Katronatron actually said, like, yeah, doesn't think that Danny Rand's wouldn't say that Danny Rand's a piece of shit, which is totally fair. I honestly kind of think he is, specifically in Iron Fist, for a few different reasons.
They wrote him that way.
Exactly. They kind of, in my opinion, they kind of wrote him that way. But I'm not going to say, like, I totally understand why you wouldn't say he's a piece of shit.
But part of it, remember, is he grew up not in the Marvel Universe society. He grew up completely isolated. And he has no idea how to interact with people apart from the monks of Kunlun.
Yes.
So he can't really, he doesn't know how to do that. So he's acting the way he is because that's who he is at the time. And like we said, already between Iron Fist to Defenders, we've seen him grow and start to change and become something more. So there is that possibility of progression.
And to a point where I'm actually excited to see him be better, which I didn't expect. But just in case you didn't know, Kelly, he's the Immortal Iron Fist.
I never would have expected that. It's not like he ever said it once during the entire series.
I don't think he did. Not a single time. And then so we'll probably should move on to things that we didn't like, just in the interest of time, because I think you and I could go.
Well, one more thing that I want to say I did like.
Please, absolutely.
The length of the series at 8 episodes, I think, was the perfect length. It wasn't too long to be drawn out.
Yes, absolutely.
But it wasn't too short to just seem like they're cutting stuff out for the sake of it.
Yes.
There's a lot of the shows, it just seems like, oh, it's filler. We're going to do 2 episodes, a couple of filler episodes, then back to the main arc. Kind of like X-Files for a while.
Yeah.
But in this one, they got the right length. And I think the Iron Fist series, if they'd have condensed that series a little, it might have been better. Same with Luke Cage. There were some filler ones.
Oh, there was. Boy.
Jessica, not as many.
Not as many, but
Maybe
yeah, they probably
drop it
could have
1 or 2.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 or 2 episodes they could have shaved off.
First season of Daredevil, keep it as is.
Yes, that one's good. That
Daredevil
pacing is
season
good.
2, I liked half of it, and I didn't like half of it.
Cut out everything with Karen Page.
I liked the half with the Punisher.
Yeah.
I didn't like the other half.
I'm getting pretty tired of Karen Page and Foggy, which I hate to say. However, what I would like...
Foggy, that actor was fantastic as Foggy.
I thought he did fine. It's just in season 2, I honestly feel like they just didn't give him enough stuff. But what I would like to see is Foggy as because if Hogarth spends more time with Danny Rand and his ilk, I would love to see her making Foggy be the one that's checking up on Jessica Jones. Man, I could just imagine the interplay between those two.
Yeah, that'll be slightly interesting.
I think so. But yeah, so there are more things that I thought were pretty good. But just in the interest of time, maybe we could just kind of talk about what we didn't love.
Too many leaders of the hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Bakuto, I'm sorry, he sucks. He's not an interesting character. I don't know what his motivation is. You saw him in Iron Fist. He's there. The guy, and then
Madame Gao's everywhere.
Madame Gao's everywhere.
No reason.
I don't know what her deal is, and I know maybe it's mysterious. No, they're just doing a poor job of setting up her actual motivation. So I never know what she wants to do. And then she just seems like a yes woman to.
So Kate Tron says, I think he's getting his business cards made up. Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist. P.S. Ask me about Kunlun. I'm more than happy to tell you.
Yeah. Have you heard about would you have a moment to hear about Kunlun and the immortal Iron Fist? That's me. I'm the savior.
Sorry, this is now taking me back to the scene from Airplane where they're handing out all the flowers in the airport kind of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Also, digital facts is Bakuto, the son of Naruto. That's Boruto. Very, again, just as interesting in character, I'm sure. Good God, Bokuto. It's funny. I was actually listening to a podcast at one point where they're like, "Is name Bokuto or Bushido?" It's like, which one's the art? Which one's the art and which one's the character? And it's I'm not sure.
Bushido is the samurai way.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that was pretty funny. Nobody knows who Bakuto is. So yeah, no, I agree. They were and this is what really frustrates me. I'm fine with infighting in a group, but first of all, they just seem petty. They seem petty and uninteresting. And then, okay, also the guy who was Nobu's teacher, really great introduction to the character. Fucking love that. Where he's talking in Japanese, Sigourney Weaver speaking English. He's dissecting a bear that he killed with his bare hands. Pun. So, what a great introduction. But then he's just like, I've got a tonfa with a stabby thing. And he just basically spends a lot of his time getting knocked to the ground.
I thought Sigourney Weaver could have been used better.
Yeah.
She was good. She was a fantastic, and it's something that, again, as a comic reader, longtime comic reader, that was a new character. It wasn't someone adapted from the comics, which meant I didn't know what they were actually going to do, which is what I really like about some of the adaptations Marvel's been doing. It's not a direct copy, but it does pay reference to those who are long-term fans.
Yeah.
But how they got rid of her and what happened to her, it seemed kind of lame.
Oh, I didn't like it at all. And that's another thing, of course. This is what I was talking about when it came to Luke Cage, where we've got set up a fantastic villain who's just really amusing to see. And it's similar to with Cottonmouth, right? Where he's awesome. He's really intimidating. He's so cool. He's not infallible, nor is he invincible, but he's a fantastic character. And then he gets killed, and then the series just tanks at that point. And it was the same thing with what's her name? Alexandra?
Yeah.
Yes, Alexandra with Sigourney Weaver's character. She gets killed, and then it's just like, now I'm the villainess, says Elektra, and
which no one who knew that was coming at all.
No, that was a surprise, but unfortunately, it wasn't interesting.
It was a surprise to some that Elektra came back and became the leader of the hand.
Yeah.
it was
a
kind of
surprise.
obvious
Yeah,
they were going to do
she
it.
was gonna die. They set up her gonna die for sure.
Like basically, the one good thing they did was really tie up a lot of the loose ends from all the shows. So
Yeah.
they really brought it here so they could move forward,
Yes, absolutely.
which is good.
Yeah.
The downside is they left too many loose ends that they had to tie up in 8 episodes of Defenders.
Oh, for sure.
It just seemed too much.
And it wasn't satisfying, unfortunately. Oh, 1 second. First of all, I do want to acknowledge the Digital Fiasco's comment about the bare hands. DBZ abridged all the way. Thank you very much. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Also, we've got Roz 9volt, who's just started watching. Hello, thank you for watching. And our boy Santa's in watching us. Commander Santa, hello, thanks for watching, man. But yeah, like, man. See, and this is what really frustrates me, because the plot is exactly what was said in the chat earlier. It's just like all this set up so they can get dragon bones. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
They better do something with it in the second wave.
They have to, because again, like, you use the last of substance to make the black sky, which I'm still a little unsure exactly what that means. She's a super strong, possibly immortal ninja. Like, they have a lot of those already, but
They've
this one's
already
like
got
the
an
better.
immortal. It's the Iron Fist.
Really? They have an immortal Iron Fist? I have never, ever heard of that. Jeez.
So you haven't watched the first 10 minutes of Defenders then?
No, I need to watch them again, because Danny Randall, I feel like he's actually going to just pop up behind my couch and watch it. I'm the Iron Fist. I'm like, holy fuck, it's Finn Jones. But, like, seriously. Like,
I'm just waiting for us to change the background to that randomly in future episodes
yeah,
of the
okay.
show.
Oh, that's going to be good. Yeah, that's going to be an ongoing thing, I'm sure. Oh, Danny Rand. But yeah, like, so it just, the final plot point was just not that interesting. Like, I was really interested at the beginning, especially with that earthquake. I'm like, oh man, what kind of mystical shit are they doing? We're just gonna excavate some dinosaur bones, and then we're gonna get the substance, and then New York will collapse. I'm like, what? Like, I was just really just underwhelmed by that reveal.
They could have done so much better.
I feel like they could have written something different and interesting.
But like, part of it is they had the opportunity to.
Spoilers, guys! Danny Rand's the Immortal Iron Fist. Kyle Keller, sorry for ruining the whole franchise for you.
They could have really taken the Kunlun and really gone more with the mystical aspect in order to make Defenders something of a more mystical attack on New York. Avengers had the alien attack.
Yes.
Defenders could have done the.
I hate weeaboos.
Defenders really could have done more of the
Nice.
mystical element of it
Yes.
to really bring it in as something different, which
Yeah.
they teased with the hand and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're never going to get off the Immortal Iron Fist. It's just going to randomly show up.
It's gonna
Probably
happen all the time.
Once an episode, someone will say it.
I might just say it randomly. Yeah, no context. Don't think it was actually said in the show, as we talked about. Thank you, Kachanatron. Oh, man. I hope, actually, in the comments, oh, man, this is going to be impossible to see.
Bing Lang Sing Sang.
Bing Lang Sing Sang is saying Marvel is better than DC. Woo! So, yeah.
In certain ways.
Yes, actually, especially when it comes to the movie franchise, but that's something we'll continue to talk about. Boy. But yeah, man, it's just, I find it really frustrating because this was a chance for them to do something super interesting. And at least the fight scenes were a little bit better. We got to see, I mean, again, a lot of them are good at punching things. I love Jessica Jones' comments like, why does everybody know Kung Fu but me? This is pretty good. I just love Jessica Jones as well. So
And she didn't use her power set because she can actually fly.
yeah, well, that's the thing. She actually jump flew at least twice in her own show. But when it came to this show, she never really did that. She had this awesome moment where she was holding the elevator as it fell. I was like, oh, and then both of them were like, fucking what? Like, they were just shocked by how strong she is. It's like, climb up, idiots. And that actually gives you great indication of how much she pulls her punches, like, all the time.
Either that or she's too hammered to actually do anything.
Actually, that may be true, too. That's actually one thing I really liked is her continued alcoholism. Like, sorry to jump back, but that time where they were on the train and she like takes that beer from the homeless guy who's like, well, the possibly homeless guy who's like kind of passed out. She starts drinking. They're all just looking at her. They're like, fucking what? And she's like, it's been a long week. Leave me alone. It's just like, man, that is dark.
See, I would have honestly loved for them to have had Kilgrave in Defenders. Like, if they hadn't killed... For anyone who hasn't seen Jessica Jones from about a year ago, here's another spoiler. Kilgrave is dead. Yes, Jessica Jones killed David Tennant.
Oh, hey, Bing Lang Sing Sang's now following us. Nice. Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. But no one should kill David Tennant. People are going to take offense to that.
I was a little shocked.
So, but
He deserved it.
The character did.
Yes,
But keep in mind, he was one of Daredevil's first villains in the comics.
No kidding,
in
actually.
like the first 3 or 4 issues was Kilgrave,
no kidding.
known as the Purple Man. They just
yes.
dyed him purple.
Yes, he was all purple all the time.
But he could control people's minds. And in the recent comics, they actually brought his children.
No kidding.
Who could also control, but they had to be kind of a mass
Ah,
group together in order to
interesting.
do the controlling.
Interesting.
They could have done so much there because he's
Yes.
a Daredevil villain. He's a Luke Cage villain as well. He's basically everyone in the Defenders but
Yeah.
Iron Fist.
No, thank goodness they didn't kill Kingpin, because like Marvel has a problem where they either make very bad villains or they just kill them. And
Vincent D'Onofrio was fantastic.
Yes.
They need to bring him back in whatever they're doing for the next phase of stuff.
Yes.
He kept becoming so Kingpin also is a fantastic Punisher villain. So I'm
Yes.
wondering if that's where they will bring him back in with the upcoming Punisher show.
I'd be okay with this. But yeah, so like I said, I think just to kind of like we just to kind of round out the talk, because again we've got a lot to get to.
Yeah, I think we spent 20, 25 minutes, half hour just on Defenders.
Yeah, so the other ones will be quicker probably. Basically to kind of round it out, honestly, Defenders is, again, not honestly, if you're not super invested, it's not really worth watching. Like if you're really invested in the Netflix Marvel universe, then yeah, you're gonna watch it, and I think it's fine. But honestly, it's not that much worth your time. I'd say if you're not super interested but still want to watch the other series, look up some story points, read the main plot points, and you're pretty much good to go, in my opinion.
I would say I'd agree. In general, it was Defenders ended very much like a lot of the big comic events.
Yeah.
Not as satisfying as it should have been.
Yes, that's so spot on.
It could have been so much better, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Now I'm okay with that. A, because it wasn't crap.
Yes, this
And
is true.
B, I do think they're planning something big for the next round.
Yeah.
Some of the shows actually have new showrunners in terms of the exec producers
Yeah,
for them.
oh,
So
definitely.
we'll really see what's going on.
Yes.
They're already filming Luke season 2. They're filming Jessica season 2. Punisher's pretty much in the can to come out later this year. Iron Fist season 2 is confirmed. Daredevil season 3 is confirmed. And they're talking another series to come. We don't know what it is yet.
No kidding.
But I have a feeling they'll introduce whichever character or characters it is in the Punisher series.
Yes,
There's a lot
absolutely.
of rumors, and one of them I'm hoping is true.
Yeah.
And that's Moon Knight,
Oh gosh,
which would be another fantastic addition to that level. of
That
character.
yes, absolutely. Moon Knight would fit in well with those characters. I totally agree. Moderate Side Steve is watching. Hey, Moderate Side Steve, thank you for joining the stream. Awesome.
So
Yeah.
let's segue from Defenders.
Sure, yeah.
We actually do have a question. What do we think of the new Wonder Woman movie that came out earlier this year? We were
Oh.
actually just having that discussion before the camera went on.
We were, yeah, because one of my brothers was actually texting me about it. Didn't like it apparently. I thought it was good. Like it's not amazing, but it was really good. Like it was a solid film, and I thought, and especially with DC's track record, that's the kind of movie that they needed to make.
It was. A lot of DC stuff of late is very dark. It's very broody.
Yeah,
So it's very Zack Snyder.
angry men being angry and punching things. Meh.
But what they ended up doing here was Wonder Woman really put the sense of what some of the other ones should have been, and that's hope into the DC universe.
And characters actually trying to save people. That's a model. Like, what a novel idea. Every time we see Superman save somebody, he's got like, should I save them? And Wonder Woman's like, I'm going to save these people because that's what's right.
So we'll have probably a separate discussion on
Yes.
what we didn't like about Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel and some of those other movies. We'll have kind of a bad movie recap.
Oh, boy.
In our opinion, at a later time.
Yes.
Kind of a point counterpoint or point concurrence.
There's going to be some of that, I'm sure.
But Wonder Woman, I really enjoyed.
Yes, I enjoyed it too.
Honestly, it was even though there was a lot of tropes that
Yes.
were very common in there. You
Yeah.
had your 3 segments of the movie, the 3
Yes.
arcs. They were explicitly timed out,
Very much, yeah.
but they worked well and they flowed for a consistent story.
Absolutely. It was a classic hero's journey stuff, but it was done well. Like,
It was an origin story
Yeah.
without. Now, part of it might be because with Batman, everything has an origin story. We've seen it too many times. With Wonder Woman, you've never had a big screen movie for her. You've had the TV series in the 70s.
yes, you did.
That's it.
And then that one pilot with
But it never made it anymore.
no, it didn't even go on TV. But well, first of all, as far as origins, did you know that Batman's parents were killed?
What? When the hell did that happen?
Fuck, I don't know. let's film it again.
What I did like about the origin for Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
though, is she's had like 10 of them in the comics. She's the
has.
most retconned origin in comics.
Yes, absolutely. That's very true. Martha.
Yes, it wasn't Queen Martha of Themyscira.
No, thank goodness.
But what I really enjoyed, honestly, the scene that really did it was the scene that they almost didn't film, and that was the scene in No Man's Land, where she climbed up out of the trenches and walked. The studio didn't want Patty Jenkins to do the scene, but that was the scene that really solidified who the character was.
Absolutely. Oh,
Batman or Superman doing what?
yeah, that's actually a really good question, but it depends. Honestly, context. Like, I actually like both of them. Personally, I actually, in some ways, lean a little bit more towards Superman. Occasionally.
Only if Christopher Reeve is Superman.
Well, basically, yes. That's kind of where it boils down to. As far as the comics go, Batman usually has some of the more interesting stories, but also Batman's used as a tool for just being good at everything all the time. Which, in some of the comics, like Batman R.I.P., I freaking hate that storyline.
So I find it really depends on who's writing them. So right now,
Fair enough.
Patrick Gleason is writing the Superman comic. Dan Jurgens is writing Action Comics.
Yeah.
This is the best Superman has ever been written. This is the first time
haven't
in my
read that.
This is the first time in my life I've actually picked up Superman on a regular basis.
You know, kidding. Like, I think the last Superman story I read that I really enjoyed was Superman All-Star, and I thought that was quite a fun, charming story.
But it wasn't in the main universe.
No,
either.
that's
It was
exactly
a
it.
standalone.
Yeah, it was a standalone. Oftentimes, Superman standalone stories I really like, but I haven't read. I might have to check it out.
Now the Batman ones right now, they're between Batman and Detective.
Yeah.
They're two completely different things. So
Okay.
Batman right now, so this. Thank you for joining me on my first and last stream for Comic Sans.
Yeah, Kelly just got fired. Like Superman. I like Superman too. You're gonna fire both of us. That's right. It's what's come to, guys.
Welcome to Comic Sans, presented by Static. But the Batman title is written in such a way that it's very much... It's hard to describe, but the guy who's writing it really takes in-depth stories and focuses on the character.
Mm-hmm.
With Detective, it's a team book now. So he's got another team, not just Robin, which it's always Batman and Robin.
Yes.
But you've got Batwoman,
Who's pretty cool.
who's actually his cousin,
Okay.
who's Bruce Wayne's cousin.
No kidding.
You've got a villain who has now become good, Clayface. This is the first time I've ever liked Clayface apart from the animated series.
Yeah, no kidding. That's like literally the only time I've ever liked Clayface. Usually he's just like there and being stupid.
Orphan, who was Cassandra Cain, one of the Batgirls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My older brother's a huge fan of that character.
They introduced Batwing, which was Lucius Fox's son.
Well, he was introduced during the New 52 because there wasn't there
Yeah,
a Batwing
there was a
comic that
Batwing
started.
series
Yeah,
that-
I read a couple of those. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they did have Tim Drake Robin, who was killed.
Wait. Tim Drake was killed or was it Jason Todd?
Well, Tim Drake was killed in Detective in the Rebirth era.
Oh,
Just recently.
okay, got it.
Killed.
Well, I mean, it's comic book, so yes.
Well, no, they outright showed that he wasn't killed.
Oh,
Right away. So
okay.
they
Wow.
know it's leading to the big reveal for the Rebirth series that is coming, which we'll
Interesting.
probably get to a bit later on with some of our other discussions here.
Fair enough. Well, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so Batman, it's hard to say. In the comics today, I would lean Superman is better. In the movies, so since the 1970s, Batman's been done better.
Yeah.
Basically, Michael Keaton is fantastic. Happy birthday, Michael Keaton, by the way.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Michael Keaton. Yes. Happy birthday, Birdman. That's what he's known for, right?
And Vulture.
Oh, right. That too. He's
Different Birdman.
Two completely different Birdmen. Oh, what? We got another follow. Demaricus. Thank you for following, Demaricus. Much appreciated.
Excellent. So, cool new Marvel character. We're going to get to some actual comic-specific
Yes.
stuff in a little bit. We're just going to finish off some of our comments on the TV show.
Absolutely.
And the movie franchises, then we'll get to comics.
Okay, so just we're gonna try and go through these a little bit more quickly. So of course, like just the Punisher. I don't think they have an actual date, but that's supposed to be November, is it not?
November, December is what they've been doing traditionally, just in time for U.S. college students to finish exams.
Yes.
And go home for the break and torture their parents.
Yeah, towards their parents with a lot of much needed violence on TV, of course.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
And it's Netflix, so that's the nice thing. It's not going to be a pared down
Yes.
level. They're not going to be too gratuitous either for the sake of an R rating. It's Netflix. They can do what they want.
this is true. So what do you think about the are you excited for the Punisher coming up?
I think so. Like I said, that was my favorite part of Daredevil season 2. Is it was done well.
Yeah.
It wasn't over the top.
Sure.
And so long as, again, they don't drag something out. That's my fear.
Yeah.
Is they're going to try to do a story arc that's going to be too long and just doesn't flow. It has to be a solid story.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's going to fall apart, and then people are going to tie it with all of the other movie iterations.
Yeah.
None of which have been spectacularly good.
No, you're very correct about that.
Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. Just think about that. That's what the first one was.
That's a choice. that's a choice, you know, like like what, how,
A good or a bad choice? We'll leave that for
yeah,
everyone
we'll,
to decide.
we'll let you, the viewer, decide. Good God. You know what? Like, interestingly, I like the Punisher stuff, but I've never been a huge fan of Frank Castle myself. Like, I guess I've, growing up, I've always been a little bit more for the wholesome heroes, I'll admit. Don't get me wrong. I like my, especially as an adult, I like my own fair share of, darker, more grittier heroes. But like, when I was a kid, like, I always, I loved Spider-Man because he was a nice dude. He cared about people. He worked in the community and stuff like that. So, something like Frank Castle who just goes out and kills a bunch of people constantly, I was always just like, oh, I'm not a huge fan of you. But what I liked in Daredevil season 2 is that they had that character, and this showed how fucked up that shit was, how fucked up he is because of it.
Yeah.
And then some of the best conversations were the conversations between him and Daredevil basically clashing with their ideologies. Like, I thought that was great.
And that was common through the books too. Is he keeps showing up. The only 2 titles he shows up in more, it's Daredevil and Spider-Man, because he started in Spider-Man.
Yes, absolutely.
So he keeps coming back to those 2 titles of he's the uber bad guy, will take people down, versus the guy always trying to protect.
Yeah.
He has an ongoing comic series right now too. It's going a little, I'm not sure how to take it.
Okay.
So a while ago, he was killed, then he was brought back like a Frankenstein, so he was Frankencastle. I'm not joking. That was just stupid. There's also
Even
he
for
was
me, that's
killed
pretty
and
rough.
he came back like resurrected with angel powers and can create stuff.
What?
This was the 90s, like we said, let's
Christ, I
forget the
fucking hate
90s.
this. Right, of course. Jesus.
But they're giving him, because in recent ones, and we'll come to some of the comic stuff later, Rhodey War Machine was killed.
No kidding.
In Secret Empire.
Oh,
Frank has now taken the War Machine armor. Nick Fury gave it to him.
that's really interesting. Was that Frank and Castle? Was that Buffy fan fiction? Might as well be.
No, that would have been better.
Oh,
That's how bad that story was.
What?
That's when I dropped my subscription to Punisher.
wow. For Kelly to drop it must have been pretty bad. Jesus.
It was not enjoyable.
No.
Not for me, anyway.
No kidding. No, I'm interested to see what they did. I thought they, what I like, and then again, this was one of the biggest issues. Before I miss it, Bing Lang Sing Sang is a Heath Ledger best Joker ever. I have to agree, best on-screen Joker. I really liked him.
I'll say Jack Nicholson. I will stick with Nicholson.
You know what? That's fair. I actually think he's really good too.
Heath Ledger was good, but Nicholson, it's just part of it is that character. He put a lot of himself into it, and more on the comic side versus the manic side. So they were 2 completely different Jokers.
For sure, absolutely. But yeah,
No one will say that Jared Leto was the best Joker.
what are you talking about? When did that happen? I don't remember Jared Leto being the Joker.
Oh, just wait till the next movie of Harley and Joker with Jared Leto.
Didn't happen. Everything's fine. We're
it
all
hasn't
fine
happened
here.
yet.
That hasn't happened. Not going to happen because Suicide Squad isn't the thing that happened. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm interested to see what they do with the Punisher, and frankly, like, I do like when those this is the thing that I feel like Batman v Superman got really wrong. The 2 main heroes basically had the same philosophical side as far as what they were fighting about, and what then, like, their views on society were very in line, so they didn't really have anything to fight about. They were just being dumb. While seeing Frank Castle kind of butt up against general society and other characters who have a different way of thinking, it'll be interesting to see when he is not being held back. Well, I guess he's probably going to be held back by Karen Page, because I think she's going to be in that
She
series.
is in it.
Great, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, we'll see.
So, just because you said it, that wasn't the problem with Batman v Superman.
that was
or
one of
Man of Steel.
That was one of the many problems.
The biggest problem was every supporting character was wrong. And when you have every supporting character being wrong around a main character, then you can't really get the main character right.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, Pa Kent, he's always been in every iteration of the comic.
Yes.
And every iteration of the movie or the TV show or anything. He's always been, you've got to be the best person you can be. That's our Midwest U.S. family values, as opposed to, don't save me from this tornado. Don't try to help people. You need to hide.
Believe me, Kelly, we will get into that in great detail. Oh my gosh. Anywho, so other thing that's coming up. Okay, so just a quick chat because about the Marvel's Inhumans upcoming. Neither of us have seen it yet.
No, it came out in IMAX on the weekend.
Absolutely. I'm going to wait for it to come out. I think it's coming out at the end of September.
29th,
Yeah,
I think.
29th. Yes. So Basically, early reviews are pretty bad. Like, people are saying that it's not good. And somehow, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not going to read any reviews because I want to see it fresh. But I mean, it didn't really look awesome from the trailers.
Well, with the exception of Lockjaw, who looked fantastic.
Yes, that's true. Lockjaw did look cool. That's the dog, by the way, the teleporting dog. Yeah.
But a lot of the other characters, even when you saw the first trailer to the second trailer, the character of Medusa, they adjusted her hair to do a lot of stuff, to be the length and everything.
Yes.
Like they changed the trailer, meaning right up to the last minute they were editing, which is very concerning for a show that's going to be hitting IMAX right now. But only the first couple of episodes are going to theaters. Everything else is going to be just on television.
Yeah.
So I'm also waiting until it's on TV because I don't want to go see the first 2 episodes on the screen, then wait a month for them to air on TV, and then wait another 2 weeks to get to the next part of the story.
No, that's a very good point. You know, sometimes stories do get better with time, especially when you're like, oh man, this is terrible. But they're like, oh crap, that's what they were doing.
But it's also only 8 episodes.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
The entire run is 8 episodes, and then they're jumping right into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as soon as that is done.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cameos, especially probably near the end where like Skye will show up and or I guess Daisy will show up and she'll be like, hey guys, I'm the emissary for Inhumans. Let's chat. And then bam, you know, but honestly, I think the show would only be improved with her inclusion. If she's going to show up, I hope she shows up sooner because honestly, beginning, I hated Daisy Johnson. Well, again, Skye at the time.
I hated her as Skye.
I hate her as Skye, but when she became Daisy Johnson, great character. And she's in a lot of comic books now. I think she's
leading the Secret Warriors comic.
Yes, I saw that. And you know what? I think that's awesome because I think she's a legitimately good Marvel character at this point. Like Daisy Johnson, like I thought that was a really great mislead because it's like, who is this? Like she might be a main character. I was secretly hoping she'd be Jessica Drew, which is like
Spider-Woman.
Yeah, exactly. Huge Spider-Woman fan for literally like I don't know why. I think she's awesome.
Sony still had the rights.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that was impossible. But when I was like, oh, Daisy Johnson, that's a bit of a a bit of a deep cut. But then she turned out being awesome.
See, and as soon as they no matter what, her playoff in S.H.I.E.L.D. with Kyle MacLachlan was fantastic.
Yes, that's true.
The two of them back and forth kind of a thing. As soon as they called him Cal.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
People who read Secret Warriors and knew the character kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, oh shit, I know who that is. Yeah, so that was really good. So we'll see.
My biggest thing, and this is to go, when you look at the entire Marvel universe as a whole, cinematic universe, movies and shows.
Yeah.
So the only thing I know really about Inhumans is that their city of Adelan is on the moon.
Yes. Yeah.
So in the comics, it started in the Himalayas, then they went to the moon.
Okay.
Now, we saw the one in the Himalayas destroyed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, we did.
So they were on the moon.
Yes.
Why the hell didn't they stop the Chitauri coming in and the
Oh,
invasion
man.
in Avengers?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Why didn't the Chitauri get them first?
You know, kid, I was like, hey, something exploded on the moon. What the fuck just happened? You know, like
Thanos just happened to miss them.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh gosh, that's true. So many questions about that. Oh my goodness. Well, maybe they'll have an answer. Maybe like we watched from a distance and we did nothing because humans have shown blah blah blah. Who knows?
They won't do that because Black Bolt can't talk.
You're right. They won't do that. Black Bolt will just kind of sit there. Like, why did you come? And then he'll just glare and then narrows his eyes.
Black Bolt, the ultimate Marvel mime.
Yes, no kidding. He'll just. Anyway, that's good. I would watch the shit out of that. Anyway, okay, so we'll see. Also, just a quick comment on The Tick, which is a TV show that
Amazon Prime.
Yes, absolutely. It had its pilot ages ago, which I watched at the time. I really, really liked it. It was a great pilot. I thought it was funny. It was interesting. As somebody who actually kind of liked the Patrick Warburton show, this is definitely better. Different type of show for sure.
Yes.
But and then now they've had like 6 episodes so far.
Yep.
This far in, I think it's great. They're doing a lot of great lampshade, like hanging a lampshade on things. But again, it's not just, hey, we're pointing out this stupid superhero thing. They point it out and then they do a good joke with it. Like it's just really clever and incredibly charming.
It's the first comic series that has been out of late, because there's been some duds that have been able to put some humor into it effectively on an ongoing basis.
Absolutely. And like there's still serious stuff happening. Like this is much more violent Tick than what you may have seen in the past if you watched the cartoons.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. But God, they're doing some really funny stuff, like with that Overkill character. Like he's got this weird funny interplay with the AI of his secret battleship thing.
Who I meant to look up who the voice was and I never did, but it sounds like it's Niles from Frasier.
Oh my God. Oh my God, if that was the case, that's awesome. That's awesome. Like this guy will even, like, there's even a scene where where Overkill, like super hardcore, he says something, and then all of a sudden the computer robot just like basically says what character he quoted from a TV show, and the guy, the Overkill's just kind of shut the fuck up, and then leaves. Freaking hilarious. I guess
the big bad, I'm blanking on his name now.
That's
the Terror or something, right?
Oh yeah, the Terror is his name.
So Jackie
yes.
Earle Haley.
Yes. Oh my God.
So Rorschach from The Watchmen.
Yeah, absolutely. What an inspired choice.
Yes. And also Freddy Krueger from the crappy remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's true, actually. His introduction with the flashback, with Arthur's oh my God, so funny. Like, I almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard.
Ken Cannon from Preacher.
Oh, yes, he was also in Preacher. Yes, oh, sorry. Actually, Jack just off screen told us the name, but I totally didn't hear it. What was it?
Odin Kincannon.
Odin Kincannon. Yes, that's right.
So I'm not up to speed on all the Preachers yet, which is why I can come. I love the comic, but I haven't watched all of the show yet.
Well, we'll talk about it when you get a chance to check it out. For sure, because it's interesting.
It's on my list.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure
I just
it
have
is.
to get around to sitting down and watching it.
No, for sure. But the Tick is actually played by Peter Serafinowicz, and gosh, he is so perfectly cast.
I would say better than Warburton.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. And again, I'm a fan of Warburton. I actually like that show. Definitely better than Warburton.
I had a big problem with Warburton's version, mostly because I kept picturing him as Joe Swanson. And it was just the voice, because he's just doing voice acting, and he's not changing his voice.
No.
It was Joe.
Absolutely. I was seeing him as Putty from Seinfeld, like the whole time. Yeah, so...
Well, there was also Men in Black.
Yes, that's true.
Of which, that makes a lot of... Barry Sonnenfeld, who did Men in Black, did The Tick. He was the exec producer.
Yeah.
And then Lemony Snicket.
Yes, oh God, he's so good in Lemony Snicket. But yeah, then he gets Brock Samson. Yes, also very true. I love Venture Brothers. So true. He's also Brock Samson. At the time, obviously, it didn't, it wasn't around. But yeah, God, he's perfect casting for him. But yeah, so far I think it's incredibly charming, super funny, and it Miss Lint, I love that character. I think she's hilarious and also terrifying. Like, she's got good back and forth between being really intimidating and then something really funny would happen with her eye. With her eye, because she's got a false eye, and then
what color eye? The little briefcase of eyes.
Yeah, exactly. There's small stuff like that, and then of course because she has electric powers, lint is always flowing towards her. So every scene she's in, there's always lint floating around her, and every once in a while it'll land on her, and people will be like, "The fuck is that?" But one of my favorite scenes is when she crashed the party for
the vacuum.
Even before that, actually, I did love the vacuum thing. But when she was pretending to be a normal person, the way she was talking, she's like, "Yes, we just want to talk about our personal matters." I was like, she was just trying so hard, and nobody actually called her out on her shit, which is hilarious.
No, it was definitely one of the better adaptations.
Yes,
it was unique. It was done with multiple audiences in mind. There was some language that you wouldn't want your kid watching, say, from the Warburton one, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. Not every show is for every age demographic, and they could do more with it by making it cater to a slightly older audience.
And you know what, the thing is that certain characters will curse, other characters won't. You probably won't hear Arthur cursing unless he gets really angry. The Tick won't curse at all because he's like a the kind of perfect Boy Scout type of hero. So he doesn't kill people, he doesn't curse. Characters like Overkill will curse all the time. So it doesn't feel like it's forced either, which I really like. Great show so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a quick one off thing here. So the Joker standalone movie. So that one's actually.
There's a lot of different news rumors going on that there was, and I was the one, I told the guys at Digital Fiasco this before. There was talk of Martin Scorsese producing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still in the works or not. There's been talk of multiple people who they want to star in it, such as who do you?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
No. Yeah,
I don't know, man. I like Leonardo DiCaprio. Not a fan of that casting for the Joker.
No. Unless they're doing what they did in the comics, which is currently there's 3 different Jokers.
Yeah.
So unless you're gonna have Leto and Leo, that's too much of a comparison name. There's
it's confusing.
And then bring someone else to play the 3rd iteration. That would actually be a very interesting Joker of the 3 different types of personas.
Yeah. Okay. We should talk about that more in the future about what potential things they could do with that.
There's a lot of potential they could do, especially there's an upcoming comic where Joker is the good guy, Batman is the villain. that comes out later this year.
Okay, I want that. I'm gonna read that.
The Joker's mother's name was not Martha.
Thank Christ. Actually, just wanted to acknowledge Big Lang Sing Sang earlier watched What's Our Favorite Movie. Honestly, I think
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a very loaded question. We will answer that, or at least have a conversation about that probably in the future. So thank you. I'm actually going to take note of that.
I think that's probably a discussion for one of our extra end of show segments for another week.
Yeah, because there's too much. Both of us will have way too much to say about multiple things on
and
that.
There's not going to be one.
There's not going to be one for me either. So yeah, thank you, Big Lang Sing Sang. I will take a note of that. Discount Dave. Oh, sorry, please.
We should also have a different time. What is our least favorite movie? And why?
Oh God, yeah, that's gonna be a thing, definitely. We might, yes, we'll cover that. Also, Discount asks me who produced Lord of the Rings. Discount, shut the fuck up. Anyway, he knows why I'm saying that. Anyway, oh Christ. Okay, Digital. You know what? We're gonna move past this. Digital Fiasco, like the rest of the whole Digital Fiasco crew, is not going to let me live that mix up down. I'm not even gonna get into it. We're gonna move on. Let's see. So the other two things, so Thor Ragnarok, basically what are your thoughts on that whole thing right now?
So it's coming out later this year.
November, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum is going to be very interesting because he is, as an elder of the universe, he is detached from humanity.
Yes.
Jeff Goldblum could pull that off fantastically.
Yeah, he's already detached from humanity.
Yeah,
as
he's a little off to begin with.
Very cool dude, but yes, also may or may not be a space case. Who knows?
But in the books, his brother Elder is the collector from the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
so they're
yes, that's
introducing
true.
that type of a character.
Interesting. I like the look of that.
It.
I like the sound of that. Yeah. Actually, Digital Fiasco saying Thor Ragnarok looks like the first Thor movie that they might actually enjoy. I feel the same way, honestly. I don't very much like the first two Thor movies, like almost at all. Like I like Loki. That's about it.
So I liked the first one, partly the cinematography and the visuals
That's
I thought
fair.
were fantastic. The story was not as good as the cinematography.
Yeah.
The second one had so much potential.
Yes.
Because everything they ripped off from the comics for that one happens in my favorite run of the comics.
No kidding.
But then they didn't do it
to
the same effect. Like Christopher Eccleston, I think he's a fantastic actor.
I think he's great.
He could have been he was a great Malekith, but the story didn't allow it to go to where it should have.
There was nothing. The character had nothing to do.
My fear with this Thor movie is, unlike the other movies, it's the third writer director combo. There's no consistency.
Yeah.
It looks like if they're really trying to do a buddy cop with Hulk and Thor, it could be done really well or
Fingers
really
crossed.
bad.
Yeah.
Hulk's actually talking in this one,
Which is cool.
If they get it right.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
But some of the scenes in the trailers were fantastic. There's the scene where they're coming into the city. You've got that huge tower.
Yeah.
If you still that scene, you see a lot of other Marvel characters
No
in
kidding.
that tower. So at the very top, Man-Thing.
What? Really?
If you look very closely, Man-Thing is right at the top.
That's a deep cut. I didn't even notice that at all. I'm gonna have to watch that. Holy shit!
Beta Ray Bill is also in the
Beta Ray
tower.
Bill is in that. Holy shit! Actually, I've been saying that I would kill for Beta Ray Bill to be in this movie. So
his face is in the tower, and that's supposed to be the towers of previous champions of that gladiator ring.
I hope he shows up for sure. If he doesn't, at least they're acknowledging his existence.
The only way he comes about is by taking Thor's hammer.
I know. Okay, you know what? We'll talk more about Thor when it comes closer because I have a lot of things to say about what I hope. But yeah,
so
okay,
we'll plan for that.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
when we do, as we're talking, we have a legacy one. I want to talk about the guy who did that era of Thor the best, Walt Simonson. I want to do we'll do that. That'll be a Thor episode later on in November.
Yes, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, basically what I have to say about that, like, yeah, I agree. Hopefully it'll be the first Thor movie that I actually really enjoy. My worry, again, maybe this is me, like that trailer was kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. And I'm just like, I like the idea of it being goofier and kind of cooler. I'm just like, but I don't know. Are they going to try and Guardians of the Galaxy up this one? Not in the sense that it's more fun and colorful, more in the sense that like, there's going to be a bunch of, a certain era of music that's all played in and it's going to be somewhat incongruous, but also somehow fits and blah, blah, blah.
Well, the opening animation, they say, for Thor Ragnarok looks very Charlie Brown cartoons from the 80s as it's coming in the CBS special.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
absolutely.
at the beginning.
So I was just like, again, like this is me more just going, is this just what Marvel's going to lean on. I honestly don't think that's the case. But I mean, I was just like, that was my immediate reaction, was like, oh man, really? But then I saw the trailer, like, this is okay.
Okay, they got Led Zeppelin for the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's rare to begin with because of the licensing rights
No
for
kidding.
their music.
Oh, fair enough. I actually didn't know that was rare, but and it's a good song.
They want some good coin.
No kid, fair enough. And it's Marvel. They're just like, bleh. But like, seriously, I liked the trailer. I thought it was like, I'm kind of excited about that casting for the casting for Valkyrie. I think she's a good actor. Yep. She was in many things, including Veronica Mars and Westworld. Yeah, she's like everywhere. I can't remember her name because I'm the worst. But if you do look her up, she's got a bunch of work. She's a great actress, so I think she's going to be fantastic as well. Hella looked hella cool. I just like to see. Okay, that's my one. That's my
your second pun. You called one out earlier.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, that's my two. Please, well, don't worry about it.
None next week.
Oh, shit. I shouldn't have wasted it. But like, I think she looks fantastic, and she looks really intimidating and very cool. Like, there's a lot of things that look really cool in this movie. So I can't, like, I'm not like, excited, but I'm hopeful.
Well, what I'm glad is they're actually taking probably the best Hulk story ever, which is Planet
Hulk, yes.
And they're incorporating it here because
yes.
they don't have the rights to do a solo Hulk movie themselves.
Yes, that's true.
This is a way they can bring that in order to get some Hulk focus as opposed to just being a part of the group.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And yeah, like Planet Hulk was a great storyline. That's one of the few ones
They're
that I actually
returning
did
to it next month.
No kidding. Oh my gosh. See, this is exactly why we're doing this. That's exciting. That's so exciting to hear. I might have to read that because I like Planet Hulk. My older brother was collecting those, so I read them from him. Let's see. Digital Fiasco saying that they're going to have to make me pun cards. Oh man. Oh, can we not?
That sounds like it's going to be a really bad version of Cards Against Humanity when all is said and done.
It's probably going to be. Good God.
Welcome to the nerdy Cards Against Humanity.
Oh my God, it's all going to be puns from me. Anyway, I wish. I think he's just going to actually just give me like literal red cards for puns.
I'm thinking it's like soccer.
Yeah,
you get a
exactly.
yellow card and then a red card.
Yeah,
and then you're ejected.
Yeah. Oh, who's that cute boy next to you, Albel? Well, this is Kelly. Hello. Oh my God, that's a Guy Fieri emoticon. That's terrifying. Everybody in the chat, just look at that. That's the face of evil and death. Anyway, it creeped me out. No, that's
me or him.
No, not you. You're the cute boy that's next to me. It's Kelly. There you go. But yeah, no, yeah. We'll see we'll talk about a lot more when it gets close to that.
Agreed.
And then the last major movie thing before I just read out the list of shows coming back, is Justice League.
Could be good. Could be bad. It was Zack Snyder for the first run. A lot of reshoots from Joss Whedon.
A lot of rewrites as well.
It's hard to say what it's actually going to end up being. I know there was controversy during the filming of it in the first place, simply due to the fact that Jeff Johns, Marvel's creative officer now.
Oh, is that DC's creative officer?
Or that's about DC's?
Yes.
Because Warner Brothers owns DC, Jeff Johns stepped in and is involved in all of the movie properties.
No
now.
kidding.
That's why he's not writing a lot of the comics these days. He's focusing on making their other properties.
And he's been
fantastic.
And he's been working a lot on the TV shows as well. Is that right?
Not as much.
Oh, not as much. Okay.
Not as much because they've done the shows well on the CW network. That's true. Yeah. That he works with them to get a feel for it, but they're doing well without him being day-to-day involved.
Yes.
But he was fantastically involved in the detail of Wonder Woman. Yeah. He's involved in Wonder Woman 2. And look how good we thought Wonder Woman was just from our discussion earlier. It was a great, great flick.
Absolutely.
So he and Snyder did not see eye to eye.
I can't imagine.
Jeff Johns is the guy who looks for the hope and loves the legacy of the characters. Zack Snyder likes to shoot them in the head and try to put them down.
It's kind of like what they did with our boy Jimmy Olsen. Remember that time?
They literally shot him in the head.
They literally shot him in the head.
But at first they changed him from a photographer to a CIA agent.
And then also that woman at the Daily Planet is Jenny Olsen. What are they doing with that character? Anyway.
There's a lot wrong, as we said. We can make that a complete separate one. We may have a comic song special after a few beverages, which the truth will really come out.
Oh my God. Anyway, but yeah, no,
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I want it to go well.
Yes.
I don't know if it will. If anything, I think this is the first time Aquaman looks really fucking cool.
Whoa, I disagree. I mean,
They could have used a different era of Aquaman where they cut off his hand.
yeah,
and
yeah.
replaced
That was
it with
what was
the
that?
hook.
90s Aquaman.
That was 90s Aquaman.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was very 90s.
Yes.
And so long as they didn't go the animated one from Batman Brave and the Bold, outrageous, that would have been too ridiculous.
I would have loved that, but you're not wrong.
But so long as they do it well.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
that's the whole thing with all of these stories. I don't want them to take a comic story and do a direct adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want them to take the spirit of the characters and put them on screen in a story I've never seen.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. I'm not exactly hopeful. Honestly, I'm just like, even looking at the trailers, everything I'm reading, I'm just like, I honestly don't think it's going to be good. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try and go in.
I didn't say it was going to be good. I said I was
okay.
hopeful.
Okay. No, that's that's fair. That's fair. I'm not even at the hopeful stage. I'm mostly at I'm not excited. Like I know I'm DC, you got me. I know I'm going to pay money to get in there, and I'm going to do it like basically the first weekend for sure. But I'm not excited about it.
I want to see what they actually do with Darkseid.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's the big thing.
We haven't even seen him yet, have we? We've just seen Steppenwolf.
We've seen Steppenwolf.
Who's like a big robot or something.
Yeah, keep in mind, Snyder also kept Doomsday from the screen and the trailers for Batman vs. Superman, but you knew he was there.
No, but he was in the trailer, though. He showed up in the trailer.
The last trailer.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Oh, Ronan Tex is always a good sweater.
He was.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He was on Atlantis. He had to be.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so
we'll reserve judgment.
Yeah.
Till it's out.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say we were both hoping it's good, but we want to be realistic. And with their track record,
Yeah.
1 out of 3 so far is not a good track record since the new movie universe came out.
Oh boy, yeah, that's terrifying to say the least.
Well, and keep in mind, the original one that they were trying to launch it with was Green Lantern. Yeah.
I like to pretend that never happened because it hurts me a lot.
I think Ryan Reynolds is trying to pretend that never happened, apart from
Yeah,
the
I
fact
think
that's where he
so.
met his wife.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing to come out of that movie.
Oh, right.
For him, anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, God.
And the ability to make fun of it at the opening of Deadpool.
This is true. This is absolutely fair. That's... God, I honestly, just every time I think about it, I get a little sad, but we'll have to see. We'll definitely have to see. I just wanted to, Kyle Keller said that he can't wait to see how they kill Batman at the end so Affleck can quit being Batman. Don't joke. Like, I mean, it's a little worrying because I'm pretty sure Affleck may or may not want to get out of there. They're being really kind of, again, this is rumors and speculation. So
There's the solo one that it's hard to say what they're going to do. And then we've got Katron says when Affleck quits, Matt Damon. No, Matt Damon's going to be Robin.
Oh my God. Okay.
We've also got Emery on Blackburn just joined. Welcome. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. Nice. Thanks for joining. Okay. Just quick aside before we move on. I apologize. I know we keep getting sidetracked, but which Robin do you think Matt Damon would be?
Jason Todd, so they can kill him.
Yes, absolutely. My thoughts exactly. And then they fight at the end.
Well, because Nightwing version is going to be in the new Titans TV series, so they're not going to put him in there and kill him off.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's totally true. Okay, yeah. No, I would have said Jason Todd as well. I love that choice. Although what would be hilarious, like the joke answer would be Damian Wayne.
Too old.
I know he's too old, but could you imagine him pretending to be his like 13-year-old son?
Either that or he's a Batman from the multiverse. If they're really gonna go ridiculous.
Oh God, don't even. Let's. That could happen. You know what? They probably won't do that movie.
They've already done it in the shows.
And you know what? They may actually be doing it sounds like they're probably doing a Flash movie.
The Flash movie is going to be a Flashpoint, like the entire last season of Flash.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh God. We are getting into dangerous territory. We're going to talk about all this in much finer detail for sure.
We're going to segment it out probably, so we'll have one or two shows per week going forward. But this is our first foray at this, so we're getting in backstory.
Indeed, that's true. It's very important. Yeah, set up the origins, and then slowly peel it away as time goes on. Okay, so now I'm gonna read a bunch of premiere dates. So this is like the TV news. Basically, a lot of stuff is coming back. We're gonna talk about these shows in much more detail when they're actually airing. I watch a lot of these, not all of them, but I do watch a lot of them, and some of them I'm gonna try and get into. too.
Yep.
I believe Kelly watched some of them as well. So
Well, I think there's going to be one or two that I watch that you don't, and vice versa.
yeah,
probably.
exactly. So first one, Inhumans. It's coming like IMAX, like we said, September 3rd. It's already been in IMAX, and then on TV, it's going to be September 29th. I'm going to watch it. I'm probably going to dislike it. Hopefully, I won't. We'll see. We talked about that already.
And they just recently announced as soon as Inhumans is done, Shield is starting right away. They're not waiting till after the Christmas break, after all, which they were originally going to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually why I didn't put this on this list, but I actually saw that earlier too. So thank goodness, because I actually liked the last season of Agents of Shield. I thought it was great. So yeah, next up we got Fear the Walking Dead season 3 part 2 September 10th. I do not watch that show. I don't. I'm sorry. Sorry, Walking Dead fans. Fear the Walking Dead looks terrible. I watched the first episode. Did not like it.
I don't even watch regular Walking Dead.
Well, that's actually. I'm gonna get to Walking Dead. Don't you worry. I don't. Well, I do, but it's a whole other thing. Let's see. So we've got Gotham season 4 starting September 21st. Sorry guys, I can't do Gotham. I really tried 2 whole seasons. I just couldn't get into it.
I made 2 whole episodes, and then I couldn't get into it.
That's fair.
Part of it because my reasoning, they tried to put everyone in the first 2 episodes. It was overkill. Not everyone has to be in Gotham forever.
And they all, like, a lot of them even knew each other. So I'm like, how does nobody know that he's Batman? Oh, we got a follower.
Purn.
Tell us how to pronounce it if you like. But yeah, Purn. Thanks you for following. Yeah, Gotham. I'm sorry, I tried.
I saw the teaser picture of the kid trying on a bat suit.
Oh,
I'm
come on!
I'm not even gonna try. Done.
Are you kidding?
No.
You know what?
No.
Whatever.
Done.
Let's not do
Now,
this. Let's not do this.
They did do good casting for Penguin. That is the one good thing I'll
Cobblepot is
say.
fantastic
Yes.
in that show. I actually like Enigma as well. I thought he's okay. Like, but again,
They didn't need everyone.
that's exactly where it is. Actually, to be fair, I like Bullock too. A lot of the time, he's not bad.
Yeah, but he's a cop, right?
Yeah.
In the show too. I don't watch. Like I said, I don't watch it.
He's a cop on the show.
So then you know what? That's fine.
Yes.
Because he's supposed to be a hard-headed cop.
Yeah. The good casting for him, good acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But by far, Cobblepot's casting and character the best in the show as far as.
They honestly should have turned it into. There's a comic Gotham Central about the Gotham Police Department. They should have done that instead of a kid Batman.
Oh man, I would have loved that. I actually would have been pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. So next up, we've got Lucifer, which I don't watch at all, but I believe you do.
I do. I'm looking forward to it. It's
Yeah.
been a fun couple of seasons. The guy who plays Lucifer, Tom Ellis, I that wasn't the first thing I've seen him. I saw him in a British comedy called Miranda. It was hilarious. Completely different type of a character.
Oh, okay.
Than there, but just so much fun. The fact that they brought Six from Battlestar Galactica into season 2 of Lucifer.
What?
Yeah. So she was in there. Tom Welling is joining in season 3. Smallville Clark Kent is joining Lucifer in season 3.
No kidding. That guy hasn't been acting doesn't do a lot of acting these
He's been
days.
behind the camera for the most part, but
yeah.
now he's returning not as a main character, but as a recurring role in the police department.
You know, I think he's always been good at knowing. I think he did his thing in that show, and then he's started to do other work because he knew I'm not a big star. I can do things other places. So that's kind of cool that he's returned to TV in a
different capacity. He's not. Everyone thought that in Supergirl, when they were bringing Superman in, they were hoping it would be him to make that
I'm
universe.
glad it wasn't, honestly. And
I agree.
Yeah, like the Superman they got in Supergirl was pretty good. I actually liked him.
They did it well.
Yes.
Now Smallville could still be in their multiverse because they've introduced that. There's no reason they couldn't see 2 different Oliver Queens meet at some point in the future.
Oh man, okay. I have so many things about what I would like if that happened. So that may be for
That'll
another
be a
time.
future segment of What If.
Oh my god. So yeah, that's coming back. So that's gonna be so that's season 3 is coming back on October 2nd. So it's pretty exciting.
October seems to be the month for most of the shows.
Oh, absolutely. Actually,
that first week.
Yeah, oh god, it's gonna be completely crowded. I'm gonna have no free time.
We're gonna miss a couple of the shows doing the show.
Yeah. Oh, Digital Fiasco was asking what channel is Lucifer on. I honestly don't know. Fox. Oh,
Fox.
okay. There you go. Fox. Sometimes they make good shows.
And whatever Canadian network has the rights to it this year, because it seems to change.
Oh god, yeah, that's kind of frustrating, So yeah, Gifted. Season 1 starting on October 2nd as well. I'm not sold on it still. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Hopefully it's good, but I don't know, man. Like I'm just watching it. It's like everybody, like half the characters have telekinesis. Other characters are supposed to be other characters. So I'm like, I'm not sure.
Well, some
how
of the
all this
characters
lines
are
up.
also starting off as the sons of a villain in Marvel lore.
Yeah. Okay.
So Fenris, the twins, or whatever.
Yeah.
They're bad guys in the comics.
Actually, that's fair. Actually, that's interesting.
So it'll be interesting what they do if they do it well.
Yeah.
Fox, like I said, they did Lucifer well. Didn't like Gotham. I did like Legion on FX, but that's their
That's a
cable
couple-
network.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
a whole other
Yeah.
ballgame.
I still haven't watched Legion. I need to watch it. I'm so
And
excited.
they've been hit or miss on and off with the different X-Men movies
Yeah.
over the years.
Such a
so
whiplash.
it's
yeah.
really hard to say what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Want it to be good? Mm-hmm. I'm honestly not holding out hope.
Nah, I'm not either. But again, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm definitely gonna watch it. So yeah, and then Supergirl season 3, October 9th. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, I like Supergirl. Like, it's not amazing.
No.
It's kind of it's a very light
It's
show.
a goofy, fun show.
Yeah, and honestly, it knows exactly what it's supposed to be. See, this is what I like. What I like about the show, and actually, in some ways, I enjoy it more than the Flash, because the Flash started off as more goofy fun, then got super depressed, and everybody was sad, and Barry was always sad, and like. But no, not Supergirl. Supergirl's very lighthearted. It's very upbeat. It's very, and some of those actors are really fun. Like, clearly seem to be having fun on screen. There's a lot of stuff I don't love, like especially like I think it was the recent season where she had like where she had some boyfriend who was like also a
Monel. He
Monel.
was from Dexam.
Yeah, I didn't really love that plot line, but
That was really what's tying into potentially bringing in the Legion of Superheroes.
yeah,
which is
that's
where he's from
exactly
originally.
right. And you know what? That's a funny thing. I actually don't like the Legion of Superheroes, so that's kind of part of why I was like, oh,
The Legion is it's a 60s
It
thing.
is, yeah.
And it's also ridiculous with silly character names.
yeah, that's true.
Colossal Boy, Triplicate Girl. I am not joking.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 90% of those characters.
No. But again,
I like the rings though. I like the rings.
the only adaptation of the Legion I liked was the one Jeff Johns wrote for Smallville. One episode of Smallville
Oh, no kidding.
he did, and it was done well.
I did not see that. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, fair
You
enough.
might have, but you might have forgotten.
That's also possible too. Yeah,
It's a long time ago.
Oh God, but yeah, no, definitely not a fan of Legion of Superheroes.
No, but for Supergirl, one of the fun things about it, Kevin Smith does multiple episodes directing. He did last season. He's got two or three more he's doing this season as well. So a comic fan who has done movies, not necessarily big blockbuster movies.
No.
And whose recent movies have not been fantastically well received, but he still does a fun show.
He does fun. Like when he writes episodes, they're generally pretty fun. So
And
yeah,
he didn't write; he just directed.
Oh, he just directed.
He's
Oh,
just
okay.
directing
No,
these ones.
fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. No, that's good. That's good. All right. So then we've got
I guess Flash.
the Flash. Yes. Yeah, coming right off that Flash season
Yep.
4, October 10th. Yeah, I mean, honestly, last season I wasn't exactly in love with for the Flash, but there were some good inclusions. Although, granted, there's the actor who played Julian, who was Draco Malfoy
Yep.
of Harry Potter fame, he's not going to be around, so that's kind of disappointing because I actually kind of liked him.
Yeah, they're not bringing him back, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
He got better as the season went on.
yes, he did, absolutely, and it was kind of fun having somebody who didn't just love Barry because he was like, Barry, you're kind of a dick, and it's like, yeah, he kind of is. This will be interesting because first of all, I guess Katie Stackoff is going to be in there as what's a blacksmith, so that's kind of interesting.
Machinesmith.
Machinesmith. Oh,
Blanking, but basically Starbuck is joining the cast of The Flash.
that's awesome. And then I think it's going to be, is it the Thinker is going to be one of the villains in there as well?
That's one of the main ones.
So that's exciting. Finally, a villain who's not a goddamn speedster. Thank you. Like, how come it took 4 seasons? I don't know.
Well, because they keep returning to that in the comics too. It's always a speed thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Keep in mind, one of his first villains was the Turtle.
They
So you had the speedster
Yeah.
and the slowest man on Earth.
Speaking of Battlestar Galactica, they had
I wonder if she'll have the same plot armor as in Battlestar Galactica. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
Different writers.
Yes, but speaking of Battlestar Galactica, the guy who played the turtle was from Battlestar Galactica, right? Like
They're doing a lot of stuff these days.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because they're not doing much. They're always in guest appearance because they're not getting regular casting.
You know, he actually was the main villain in again, I'm still worst, I can't remember his name, but he was actually the main villain in what's it called? Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
I haven't finished that yet.
Oh my god, dude, it's so good. It's so freaking good. Here's a non-comic book recommendation. Watch Dirk Gently.
Season 2 is about to start.
Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, like You know what? The Flash, generally, I have a good time watching. I just think overall the last season was not fun because it was just very dour the whole time, and Barry was being a dick for a lot of it. And I just don't associate that kind of behavior with the character. So I didn't have as much fun watching it. Plus, I just thought the plot lines just weren't that interesting. I did kind of like the countdown towards the death of Iris.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool plot line, especially how they kept trying to do things to try and avoid it. So there was good stuff in there. I'm hoping that this season's a little bit more lighthearted and more interesting.
I hope so. I hope that it is. My comment for Defenders earlier was the right length of a season. I think it was dragged on too long.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they could have, with Flash, they could have done a lot of different filler episodes to really get it going.
Yeah.
Either that or make that part like a half season and then do a different arc for the second, like Shield did
Shield
of breaking
with
it up.
Such a good choice.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Let's see. So also
Legends.
Okay, yeah, Legends. So I don't watch that show at all.
I do.
Yeah. So are you excited for so it's season 3 coming out October 10th as well.
So Legends, so far for the first 2 seasons, has done some casting changes between seasons, and I think it works when you have an ensemble group like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to introduce other characters and heroes, right?
Exactly, but it's also a way to keep it fresh so you're not just getting the same regurgitated storylines, especially when you're dealing with time travel type things.
Okay.
It can really get stale. They didn't, by introducing new cast members and changing it up, it does change things up a little. They're keeping most of the cast the same. I am intentionally not reading a lot of spoilers of it because I want to be surprised when I watch it.
Yeah.
The fact that they made some villains heroes in the show, I really like in Heatwave and Captain Cold. Well, for a while, Captain Cold.
And I actually really like him. He was one of my favorite characters in Flash.
Heatwave in the comics actually redeemed himself and became an FBI agent at one point. So doing that of the road to redemption for him. I also like the fact that now they've actually separated Heatwave from Captain Cold, as they're not always in there because they were the actors are in everything together.
Yes, they are in everything
Prison
together.
Break. It's the two of them.
That's hilarious. No, I thought like that casting for Captain Cold was just perfect. Like that was the first time I've ever cared about Captain Cold. Yep. Like I'd never expect that 100 years. If I told younger self, hey, you're going to like a version of Captain Cold, I would have spit in my face. Like, because I'm like, fuck that character. He's so dumb. But no, he is awesome.
I have an ice gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas Heatwave, I have a big fucking flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, which one's more scary? Like, seriously, that scene in one of the seasons of Flash where it's like, basically Flash needs to break out a bunch of villains because he doesn't want them being transferred somewhere. Yeah. And he's just like, I'm doing something bad. I need your help. And Captain Cold's like, sure, let's do it. And then Captain Cold betrays the shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Barry?
Yeah. Oh, God. Like the way he just chews every scene.
Just the
love.
snarkiness.
Oh,
is
absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. So like that scene where he betrays him and he's just like, why did you do that? He's like, because I'm bad and I hurt people. You're an idiot for trusting me. Loved it. So good. So yeah, honestly, like I think I might give Legends of Tomorrow a shot because I've heard it's been getting significantly better.
Season 1 was nyeh.
Yeah.
Season 2 was a lot better, introducing some other characters.
Yeah.
I have an article that'll come up on Digital Fiasco at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Basically talk about how all of the different CW series have been introducing various characters.
Yes.
Which ultimately in the comics led to an iteration of the Justice League.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm actually I'm working on something to come up on the site,
wait.
hopefully in the next handful of weeks. I just want to get it right.
No, for sure. K-Tron just says, yeah, he saw Legends and couldn't unsee Captain Cold as should be break out of prison. Yeah, I can't blame you for that. Like, seriously, especially with Heatwave's character there, you're just like, what is this show? Like, why are they not in prison? Why are they not breaking out?
The fact that they filmed the remake of Prison Break at the same frickin' time.
Yeah. And plot twist, he has to now break into a prison. Did that actually happen?
It'll be a time prison.
Oh, good God. I'll watch that, and it'll be weird.
Welcome to Legends of Tomorrow, Prison Break.
Good God. So Arrow, sorry, I feel like I've taken too long with these. So Arrow.
You've got our agenda.
This is true. This is true. Arrow, season 6, October 12th. I very much enjoy Arrow. I think they've done a great job. That last season was super interesting.
I thought this last season wasn't as good.
Oh, really?
Personally.
Oh, no kidding.
I think, again, dragged on.
Yeah, no,
there was
right.
a lot of drag.
There was a lot of filler in that. Like that whole, like, I wish it was shorter. Absolutely. But I really like what they're like, because again, I'm a fan of Dina Lance. And I thought, like, I really hated Laurel.
Laurel's back.
I know.
In the new season.
Wait.
She's joined as a villain. The
Yeah,
villainous
yeah,
version
so
is
it's-
becoming a regular, I think, in Flash.
So, okay, yes, I remember hearing about that. This is Laura from another dimension.
The Earth 2.
Earth 2 Laura, which actually I really loved when she came back, because I was like, oh man, they're bringing her back. I'm like, wait, awesome plot twist. It's actually the bad Laurel. I just didn't like that character. Again, I feel like it was kind of the writer's fault. I think they kind of did some really annoying stuff with her, and she never quite recovered from that. But her death... I'm dying. Her death was actually pretty tragic.
You're a little too excited.
A little too excited, obviously. Oh god, like we talked about this. Like Kelly's basically gonna try and get me worked up every time, so I'm like, ah! Which will happen anyway. But I didn't really. But her death was truly tragic. But I like the Dina that they have now. I think she's a little bit closer to the character that I'm kind of familiar with. I think they're doing a good job, so I like her. Having Mr. Terrific in there, a lot of fun. Mad Dog, never been a fan, but I mean, he's fine. So yeah, like I like how he's kind of building a bit of a team, and so the cliffhanger at the end of that was really interesting. And again, somebody has to have died there. I'm sorry if everybody's just okay, because basically at the end, the whole planet, like the whole island that they were on, basically blew up because Prometheus, the psychopath, like he's nuts.
So rumor is they're looking at when they do the first, whatever the first show to be canceled is as a replacement.
Yeah.
Give Deathstroke his own.
Oh, okay.
With that character, that actor.
Yeah.
So to continue that arc.
Okay.
That would go very well.
Uh-huh.
Now, whether it would go super well on CW as a family-friendly network, or whatever, we know that CBS, which is called by Warner Brothers, is having their own streaming service coming up. I could see them putting something straight to there.
Yeah, okay, that would be a good choice for that, because, like, I mean, again, a Deathstroke show should be pretty violent. I mean, again, like, similar to Frank Castle, you can't just have him, like, just punching guys and knocking people out. And...
Then it's like the old G.I. Joe cartoon where they can't aim and they're the elite soldiers and they're shooting red lasers to knock people over.
And they're just going everywhere. Yeah, so, like... I don't know. That'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see that. It's also funny because like half the cast from Sparta, Blood and Sand is in Arrow. Well, it's weird.
Yeah,
they died and then they ended up in that show somehow.
I loved Arrow for a long time. Wasn't that impressed this season.
Fair enough.
I'm hoping. Number one, I'm hoping that they do it well for the next season.
Yeah.
I'm also hoping that next season is the last because I want them to go out before they get to become crap.
I agree. I totally agree with you. That's a definite possibility. I think that those characters are still, a lot of them I'm still quite invested in them. Like I'm always half and half on Felicity, and I really don't like Thea, but I do love, like, I like Dina. I like Diggle, right? I think he's a great character. I actually like his wife Lila as well. Like their spotlight, I always find interesting.
There is no reason why those characters couldn't still show up on the other shows.
That's exactly right. Like that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh
wow. Oh boy.
Okay.
We have got to get through this. I am so sorry. Basically, I'm just going to read the next couple things. And Kelly, you've got a bunch of news.
Shut up.
No. That's actually both of us. We're both super excited about this stuff, so we tend to talk quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
We'll pace again. First episode, we'll pace it a bit better later. So the next few things: Riverdale season 2, October 11th. I'm gonna watch that. I feel terrible about it.
I was surprised. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
It started crappy and it got good as it went on.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. So then we've got The Walking Dead season 8.
Don't watch.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna hate myself for it. I don't like that show, but I keep watching it. Runaways in November 21st.
Looking forward to it.
I'm super excited about that. And then kind of a weird one, Happy! Exclamation mark.
I love that comic.
Yeah, I figured you'd probably know about this one.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fantastic comic.
So yeah, detective who or he's a former cop, right?
Yep.
Who's like a hitman now, and he goes on some weird bender, and he starts seeing like a blue horse.
He starts seeing cartoon characters.
Yeah, that's weird. Super interesting. Sci-fi TV show. Okay, so basically, so that's kind of it for the TV show stuff. So you've got some comic book news as well. Did you?
We'll just do the key ones here.
Okay.
So first? I think I had Secret Empire, right?
You did mention that, but here I'll just have this over to you, so you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want.
So. Comic news, Marvel Legacy and relaunches. Marvel's doing a lot in terms of trying to rebrand their characters, finally taking into account fan commentary over what was good, what has been bad over the last little while.
That's good.
They're trying to take into account. Hopefully they do it well. Every time they try to do something, it could go either way. Sometimes it's done well, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that we'll see what happens. Certain titles that are coming back, they're doing some numbered relaunches. So like Captain America, they've been doing the relaunches number ones for so many years.
Yes.
So Captain America's coming back again after Secret Empire at $6.95. They're returning to a lot of the original numbering to really give it the true feel of legacy of the characters, like they're calling the event.
All right.
So I'm glad they're doing that because it's also a pain to find back issues when there's 8 different number ones.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
So that's coming. They're doing a bunch of one-shots right now called Generations, which are taking the current iteration of a character and pairing them up with the previous iteration. So current Thor versus old Thor.
Yeah, okay.
There's been weird wibbly-wobbly time travel stuff involved at the end of Secret Empire, which
Interesting.
caused it.
Oh, boy.
But the few one-shots I've read, they're just one-shots, are done well. So each one is kind of a discovery session for the character.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough.
So I've read a few of them.
Yeah.
The ones that are there, they're not doing everyone, which is good. It's not overkill, but they've been done well.
Is there one or two that you found the most interesting so far?
So the Thor one, but I've been really into the Mighty Thor comic. Like Jason Aaron's been doing a fantastic job in building that mythos.
Yeah.
The Hulk one was pretty good.
Interesting.
So you had the current version, which is Amadeus Cho Hulk,
Yes, absolutely.
tossed back in time to meet with original Hulk from the 60s being chased by Thunderbolt Ross kind of a thing.
Oh, neat.
So a nice little mix.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
it
That
there.
sounds really cool.
So those are the 2 that I've read. I haven't read the others yet. I've heard good things about Phoenix, though.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So young Jean Grey, meaning older Jean Grey, and more time travel stuff. I'm not even going to try to explain that one.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Cool. Very cool.
Our next up, I'm going to skip till next week. Actually, the next couple I'll skip until next week because there's a lot of things to comment on it for the new Doomsday Clock series from DC, which is going with the Rebirth, kind of the end of the Rebirth window.
Okay.
And then the spin-off of the Dark Knight's Metal series, which is a new sub-imprint under DC.
Right. Okay. I heard about that. I don't know anything about it.
A lot of it is taking characters that a lot of times the writers have a lot of influence,
Yeah.
but the artists don't. So this is one where the writers and the artists are really being a true pairing team to make stories of new characters. Mr. Terrific is returning in one of these titles. Basically, they're doing a series called The Terrifics. So it's him and 3 others.
That's really
So
exciting.
remember, he's a smart guy. They got a strong guy. They got Plastic Man who can stretch.
Oh,
Basically, because Marvel's not doing the Fantastic Four, DC's doing the Fantastic Four.
You know what? I hate the Fantastic Four, not just the movies, but also Marvel comics. If they can do a good job, I'm all in.
It's Plastic Man.
It's Plastic
It's
Man.
going to be ridiculous.
Plastic Man is great. You know what? That's true. He's really funny.
The only thing I'm going to mention is right now that's coming out of the current Dark Knight's Metal series. That's being written by Scott Snyder, art by Greg Capullo. I read the first issue. It's a fun read. I don't know where they're fully going with it yet. They're taking a lot of things they've led up to in the comics run from the New 52 and everything so far.
Yeah.
But I have to applaud the writer Scott Snyder for this one. His entire paycheck is being donated to Hurricane Harvey victims in Texas.
Wow,
Everything,
that's
and
incredible.
he gets, I believe, commission on some of this stuff.
No kidding.
Especially on that run.
Wow, that's incredible.
So his entire paycheck for that DC's going to give him is going right to Hurricane Harvey victims.
That's very cool.
Even though it's not about the comic, it's noteworthy, it's newsworthy.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of this on Twitter of comic creators and artists especially doing custom artwork to go up for auction to raise money for these events.
That's very cool. That's awesome.
The only other news is an upcoming miniseries. It's going to sound ridiculous. It comes out in October. It is another crossover across multiple imprints. Right, recently DC's done a lot of those. They've had Justice League and Power Rangers.
Yes, yeah.
They've had Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes recently.
Wow, how did I miss that? I love Green Lantern and Planet of the
It
Apes.
just ended.
Might have to check that out.
Cornelius got a green ring.
Oh man, that's awesome. Oh, okay. I'm gonna read that. That's exciting.
But what they're doing is a crossover of 2 universes you never would have expected. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy meet Betty and Veronica. They're going to Riverdale.
It's so perfect when you say it out loud, right? Like, it's like, why has this not happened before?
Perfect is a word.
I like it. I really like the sound of this.
It could be done really well.
Yeah.
Now, the writers, I believe, are the same team who do the current Harley book, which is good, so they'll keep the tone very similar and very wacky.
Okay.
So it could go very well. It could not, but I have confidence in this one.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm actually going to pick this one up. That's
Awesome.
my confidence level.
Yeah,
in
no,
it.
that's good. I want to hear how that is. So yeah, awesome.
So we can go into what are we reading. I had a long list, and I will cut that list down.
Okay, fair enough.
So while I do that literally off to the side,
Sure.
I'll let you start.
All right, will do. Okay, so basically, what I have been reading. So, as I said earlier, I'm very much into anime, also into manga, which are Japanese comic books, right? So my favorite comic book series, my favorite comic book / manga series of all time is a series called Hunter x Hunter by an artist named Yoshihiro Tagashi, who is absolutely infamous for going on very long hiatuses from the comic. So it's been tough to be a fan of his, but at the same time, I'm definitely not one of those, oh, he should stop playing video games and actually write. No, I mean, like, he's got, like, I think he's in his 50s. He's got some pretty intense back issues and stuff like that, so he has to take long breaks. Also, Hunter x Hunter is a very intricately written world, so it takes time to actually develop this stuff. So Hunter x Hunter came back for, I can't remember how many issues, but they just recently announced another hiatus, so that's been hard. However, the plot line for this latest one has been absolutely fantastic. Without getting too far into too down a rabbit hole for obviously people who haven't been reading it, which is probably very few of you. But basically, this plot line was about there's a massive boat with a bunch of characters heading to this place called the Dark Continent, which is basically this continent that is 90% of the world doesn't know about, is full of very incredible diseases, giant monsters, and all kinds of other weird ruins and stuff like that. So it's a parody completely uncharted. So a group of people are doing basically they're going to go there to explore it. On the boat is a group of people, basically a bunch of princes and princesses who are all have very much vested interest in gaining ground on this island. However, during the 2-week I think it's going to be. Well, actually, can't remember how long the boat ride to the island's going to be, but it's going to be quite a bit of time. During that, there's basically a game of death that's being played on the. Basically, it's like who's going to be the next king. All of you guys have to basically fight each other to figure out who's going to be the next king. And it's not, as Hunter x Hunter always is, it's not a straightforward fight. It's a lot of people who are going to be basically tricking each other and doing underhanded tactics to to kill each other. So it's been super interesting. So that's the main thing I've been reading, but it's on hiatus now, so I'm not gonna. Who knows? It could be literally years before we continue the plot line. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll talk about. I'll talk about Black Canary a little bit later.
We can do that next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Started reading that, but I'll talk about that next time. So
You've got a message.
Oh, let's see. Your boyfriend Matt Pat just did an episode. What? Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Jay Tanuki. Hi, Jay Tanuki. Just mentioned that my heterosexual man crush Matt Pat just did an episode on Film 3 about Wonder Woman. I'm gonna watch that later. Thank you. That's exciting.
That was a very Kevin Smith way to say it.
Well, you know. But yeah, on to you, my friend.
All right. So I'm gonna switch to. I've toned my list down. Because it was our first show, I grabbed a stack of stuff from the last 3 weeks or so that I've been reading as good titles.
Yes.
And we will go through just a few of them, and I'll save some again for next week.
Sounds good.
So first off, I'm going to talk, and I've got the issues here. Secret Empire. The last 2 issues of this series from Marvel came out over the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I was hopeful of the series. It started slow.
Yeah.
The lead up to it essentially is, what if Captain America was actually a sleeper agent of Hydra?
That pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah. The writer, Nick Spencer, asked for people just wait, let us explain it. He did.
Oh, okay.
This is the first Marvel event in about 4 years I've been satisfied with the ending. And they do 2 to 3 a year.
No kidding. Wow, that's honestly, that's shocking and good to hear.
A lot of people didn't like the ending I was reading online. I thought it was great. It was some people said it was a bit of a cop-out. Because Marvel's whole thing is, hey,
Kachada said Hail Hydra. That's a little worrying.
No, Hail Hydration. So you've got your water because your throat is a little...
Captain America is a water. That's amazing. Hail Hydration.
But this was the first Marvel event that really did a good job with a solid ending.
Yeah.
That is kind of helps...
Oh, thank you. Hail Hydration.
Wow.
This is happening in real time, guys. Yeah.
But there were also consequences. They killed off a couple of characters.
Okay.
Like in Civil War II, they killed off Bruce Banner.
Huh, no kidding.
But then they brought him back.
Of course they
in
did.
Secret Empire. Because they can.
The comic books.
So they killed off another Avenger from the movies in this one. Black Widow.
Huh. Wow.
So whether they bring her back or not, they probably will.
They probably will.
But it's a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably will with like a new series as well, right? I mean, she's got.
Well, there's been multiple people with the name of Black Widow.
Oh yeah, okay, that's actually fair.
Because
Yeah.
it was like Winter Soldier. It was a soldier for hire.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, they killed Black Widow.
That's a shame. She's awesome.
I think in issue 8. So I don't have it here.
Yeah.
But reading the story as a whole, my problem with it is there were so many other subtitles. Like almost every book in the Marvel Universe crossed over into this. There were so many miniseries. It was too big, and I think that's where there were problems.
Yeah.
You can flip the table all you like. She's still dead.
I like discount spoiler. It's like, no shit. We're doing spoilers? Oh my god.
If we were not doing spoilers discount, we would be covering only comics from about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Still a spoiler, but not as relevant. The next one I'll just jump to. It's going to surprise people. It's an Archie comic.
Oh my gosh, you were talking about this.
Yeah. So Archie actually has a horror comics line, which is actually done really, really well.
I'm so excited to get back into Archie.
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, I want to read that so bad.
So this really takes on the full witchcraft component
like
of
some
it.
Actual cult stuff.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
The witches are very, very dark. But the artwork is, I don't know if we can see it very well. I'll try to get some images that I can put online after.
Yeah.
It's fantastic artwork. It's more of a painted style.
I like the look, yes.
So it doesn't give you it doesn't look like your Archie comics of old, which is
enough.
good.
Yeah.
It needs to be different because it's a darker tone.
For sure. Absolutely.
Their other series is Afterlife with Archie, which sounds ridiculous just by the title.
I read some of that. I liked it.
The zombie apocalypse hits Riverdale.
Yeah.
And it's Jughead's fault.
Of course it is.
Well, kind of. His dog gets killed. So Hot Dog gets run over by a car. And he asks Sabrina to raise him from the dead. And it goes from there.
Awesome. I think Jughead and Sabrina is such a good pairing. I really do.
It is quite different. Jughead's getting his own new horror series coming in October, where he's a vampire, or he's a werewolf. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
And Betty Cooper's family is the series family of vampire or werewolf hunters.
I'm gonna read that. That's awesome.
It's called Jughead the Hunger.
Yeah.
They had a one shot, and now they're going to an ongoing.
Oh man, that's exciting. I need to get back into Archie. I'm excited to get back to Archie. There's a lot of good storylines with that.
Their horror lines are actually very, very surprisingly well done. My only issue is they take far too long to release issues.
You were saying that before.
Sometimes 3 to 4 months between an issue, which is just that's
brutal.
my only complaint.
That's brutal. That's a long time to wait.
The last one I'll talk about today. I mentioned this character earlier.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Yes. Right.
Seriously.
No, for sure.
I picked up Aquaman. Why? Because the artwork. It's one of my favorite artists doing the titles, Sept and Secek. He is best known for a lot of stuff with Top Cow, for Artifacts, and for Witchblade.
Oh, I have a few issues of Artifacts.
And he did a bunch of solo stuff of his own.
Do you mind if I take a quick look?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny because looking at this, I can totally recognize his art. I quite like this style for sure.
He's a digital painter, and but he does everything. He will do the pencils. He will do the inks because it is digital.
Yeah.
But he will also do the coloring to make sure it gets exactly what he wants it to be.
It looks fantastic, and I totally agree. I can understand you wanting to pick this up on the art alone.
Yeah, and after reading it, though, the writer Dan Abnett, who did Guardians of the Galaxy minis, he's doing a fantastic job with the story, too. So it's a good overall book. It's the first time I've actually regularly picked up Aquaman, and I honestly picked up just for the art.
No kidding.
If you get a chance to take a look at some of his other stuff, do so. Some of his stuff is not necessarily family-friendly stuff.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Most of his personal stuff, the stuff that he does under just himself, he writes.
Yeah.
A series called Sunstone. No young people should be around that one. It's a fantastic story, though.
Yeah.
5 trades for that one.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, but we've got some older recommendations. We each had one title we wanted to mention.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the title that I want to mention, actually, this is one that maybe at some point we'll talk about in more detail because I really want to get into this one. I actually probably won't do too many spoilers for this because I really want people to read this.
And I haven't read it yet, so that's part of this.
This is something that Kelly hasn't read. That's nuts. So one of my favorite comics over the past several years is this comic called Chew. It is done by John Layman and Rob Guillory.
Yep.
It is one of my favorite comic books of all time. The basic setup is that this detective named Anthony Chu, he basically is able to get a psychic imprint of anything he eats besides beets for some weird reason. So if he eats something, like say he eats an apple, he can tell which orchard it was grown in. He can tell when it was picked. He knows all the people that handled it and stuff like that and how it ended up where it was. Similarly, if he eats like beef, he'll see the cow being killed and slaughtered and prepared. So it's horrific for him to eat like meat. However, he also will chomp on dead bodies or people or people who are alive as well to get a psychic imprint of what happened. So he's basically a detective that works for the Food and Drug,
right?
the FDA, exactly, the Food and Drug Administration, which has a lot of power in this world for a very specific incident that involved a lot of people dying because of food-related disease. And so it's about the mystery of what actually happened, him trying to solve that mystery, and also just him having one-off really cool and hilarious cases. I love the artwork in this book. I'm going to look for a page that's like not like a huge spoiler, because the artwork in this book is ridiculous. It's very stylized and super intense and super interesting. I don't know if you guys can see that very clearly, but it's very stylistic. The characters all look ridiculous and awesome. Each of them look incredibly distinct as well. And every food always looks disgusting. No matter what kind of food it is, that's always drawn to look really, really gross, which I love. Like, this comic has a lot of character, a lot of humor. Definitely not for children. Super violent. It's incredibly violent.
It is an Image comic, so it does tend to lean towards a non-younger audience.
Absolutely. But it's one of the most hilarious and also like just heartbreaking at times. Like, it's very there's a lot of heart in it as well. So when certain things happen to certain characters, you really feel for them. So yeah, highly recommended. Honestly, Kelly, I really think you should check this one out.
It is on my list. Mm-hmm. So the one I'm going to recommend, it's one that came out from DC in the 90s. It is in their mainstream DC universe at the time. It's going to be a title that people will recognize because of a cartoon, Young Justice.
Yes. Oh, hey, we were telling me about this before.
So this is not the cartoon version of Young Justice, but this is going to be the basically what the cartoon originated from. So this was the first idea. It was getting together Robin and Superboy and Impulse, who was a young Flash at the time. They just happened to come together and become a super team.
Yes.
Other characters came in. They became basically a Young Justice League. The entire run was written by Peter David. Majority of the run was artist Todd Knock. The two of them just had fun with this series. They would detail very poignant stories.
Yeah.
They would have fun with it. One of the episodes, they met a sheik in the Middle East named Ali Ben Stein.
Wow.
And the anyone jokes just kept flowing from there.
Oh,
so they
dear
weren't
God.
afraid to take themselves in a non-serious way.
No kidding.
There's about 50 or so odd issues plus a mini-series run called Sins of Youth where stuff gets flipped around where they go from kids to be adults, but the Justice League gets flipped to being kids.
Oh, I love those
And
plot lines.
Aquaman's a little brat.
Yes! That sounds about right.
Yes.
I love it.
So they all get, even the Justice Society, basically all of the kids, it's a full age switch.
Neat.
It's just a fun series for that one.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
So I do recommend that. I didn't bring my copies with me. They're in a box somewhere. But it is definitely a fun read, and they just started releasing the stories in trade collections for the entire
thank Christ.
run.
That's basically how I buy comics. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Okay. I think our last bit we were going to talk is legacies. You know what? We're running out of time.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about probably the individual who has the most impact on comic legacies today.
Yes.
Jack Kirby. Because we're short on time, you know what? We did a post on the Digital Fiasco website, digitalfiasco.wtf.
Yes.
On Monday of last week, which would have been Jack Kirby's 100th birthday had he still been around.
Yeah, Kelly wrote this amazing post. I read it. It's really good, so highly recommended.
Yeah. If you look on Twitter, search anything Jack Kirby or Jack Kirby 100, Kirby 100, you will see a lot of comic artists. This is an individual who really inspired them to create something new. A lot of people were doing homages, but then people were saying, and his family even said, do not do an homage to Kirby on his birthday. If you really want to do an homage to him, create something new. Because he was always up for doing some new ridiculous story. out there, no matter how bizarre it became.
So many characters are attributed to Kirby actually creating them. Like, he's an incredibly
The entire first
influential.
run of Marvel, except Spider-Man.
No, yes,
That was
that's true.
Ditko.
That was Ditko. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. No, I can't wait for us to talk a little about. I've got a lot of questions I'd love to ask you about him, so I can't wait to do that.
But definitely check out our post. Take a look, see if you can find anything by Kirby. You'll be surprised how much of an influence he had. He co-created Captain America in the 30s.
Yes, he did.
He co-created the Fantastic Four with Stan Lee.
Tell people it's in the chat.
There is the link to the post is in our chat, so please check that out if you're interested. It's a lot of his bio, his biopic, a history of it, as well as some images of some of the personal books I've taken an effort to try to find and collect for my own personal collection.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to hear more about him. Like, seriously, like... Well, we'll talk more about it. I've got some. I don't know nearly as much about Jack Kirby as Kelly does, but I've got some things that really just kind of hit me in the right place just concerning Jack Kirby. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right, I think that's pretty much it for today.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, there's some other stuff we'll save for later, and some other stuff that we will be able to get in more detail as we foreshadowed towards. That's right. That's a narrative thing that people use to tell for things coming in the future.
At least it wasn't a pun.
I'll be good, I promise. No, I won't. All right. So, just in closing, thanks for watching our first episode of Comic Sans. It was a lot. I had a great time, honestly.
Yep.
Like, as you could tell, we could probably talk forever about a lot of this stuff.
It did not feel like 2 hours.
It really didn't. I can't even believe it's been 2 hours. But yeah, so just to let everybody know, that Digital Fiasco, as you've seen in the chat, we're turning 1 this year, guys. Like, it's been an awesome year. Jack McBastard and Dandroid have done an awesome job with the site. Kelly has done some fantastic contributions. I myself have written a bit for the site, and of course we got Discount, who is great with doing stuff as fun, and he's also working behind the scenes a lot. It's been a fantastic year. So just want to let you know, we've talked about the contest before, but the first draw for Digital Fiasco's 1 year of Fiasco will be on September 7th on Why Would You Play That, which is the series where basically Jack McBastard and Dandroid torture each other with playing bad games, and we all get to laugh while they suffer. It's fantastic. So yeah, tune in for that, because that's when the first draw will be. There'll also be another draw for a gift card on the next week Comic Sans, which will be September 12th. So please join us for that. We're gonna have an awesome time. Clearly you see there's a lot more stuff we're gonna talk about, and we'll have some new stuff as well. So yeah, it'll be a great time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We hope to see you back here next week.
Yes, thank you, and good night.